Check. Check one. I think we're up and going. Hi. Hit the like, share the show, everybody. I'm about to get it on. Almost there. All right. Let's go here and let's go straight to this one. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. So, obviously, we've got major escalations in Iran, which totally say to me this will be over in a matter of hours. Because that's what you do. You ask for $200 billion and say it's going to be over quickly. Obviously, it isn't that. Okay, so far, our story so far, and welcome everybody, hit the like, share the show. The story so far is that this war is costing us somewhere between $1 and $2 billion a day. And because of that, they have asked for $200 billion more dollars. And I don't think, a lot of people freaked out and they're doing the math and they're like, that's 100 to 160 days if you squeeze it out. You know, if you really pinch your pennies. You could drag that 200 billion out to 160 days more, which would get right through the end of the temporary 15% tariff weird snap that's going to happen. So, maybe that's what he just wants, is like an extra 30 days past the tariffs evening out, that he could keep doing this. But it's just, I don't think it's for that. I don't, honestly. I think, and I've really been, sitting with myself about this. You go out onto the lawn in your underwear and you stare into the baking sun and you go, "Speak to me, Lord." And what's coming to me is, I don't think that $200 billion is for another 160-ish days. I think that $200 billion is for one really expensive bomb. That this isn't about, they're just trying to build the ultimate bomb. And it costs about that much. And so what they'll do is, maybe it'll take them the same amount of time to build before they can drop it. So it might be about the same amount. We might have to fight with the stuff we got up till that date, and then kablam, right? Beyond nuking it or whatever, I think it's some sort of like Pompeii bomb. Maybe it freezes everybody in place. Maybe it's the nude bomb from the great Don Adams movie. Perhaps it's the gay bomb that the CIA had been talking about a long time ago, as a way of dunking on the Russians or people in the Middle East, because what could be worse for misogynistic homophobes than that, I would guess. So we're gonna turn the men into ladies, and you know how much they hate ladies, and they hate men who they think act like ladies. I mean, sir, we could kill them, or we could drop something on them, that just, like, if you hear it, you can hear it dropping in the background. And then they all drop their guns, and they're like, see what I mean? It's gonna happen. So that's my theory so far, is that I don't think they want $200 billion to stretch this out. I think they want $200 billion to drop one giant gay bomb. And I don't think the bomb is that expensive, but it has to look nice. And it's the design costs that really push it through the roof. It's got to have style. It's got to have panache. It's got to have splash. It's got to have a touch of color. And it's got to be seasonal. So you don't want them building up to the design, and then we get into summer and you're like, this does not match. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Qatar's in the real news. Qatar's liquid natural gas output has been cut to 17%. We just did a $16.5 billion deal with the Gulf states. One of our F-35s had to do an emergency landing. I don't know why, if it was, maybe it was out of gas. Maybe gas was so expensive that they couldn't air refuel it. Not because we've lost 4 of our air refuelers, but because, it just, look at the price at the pump. I got to tell you, maggots especially, and I welcome you into the chat. How many of you thought this time last year, a couple of months after Trump had been sworn in, that you'd be seeing $5 gasoline? It's $4.50 around here. Yeah. So I just, enjoy that. Take that in. All right. Also, in the news, a bunch of states, Democratic governors and stuff, are suing the U.S. government about denying funds meant to go towards dealing with climate, because these are geographical problems where they are, not ideological problems. When temperatures, I think even Vegas had our hottest March day ever yesterday. When things like that are happening, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. These are real things, and they have physical ramifications in the environment. They affect your citizens and their ability to do their job and to, water their crops, for example. Okay. Then what was the other one? Yeah. Viktor Orban has been blocking the Ukraine's EU entry, essentially. and he basically he's like walked in there and he was doing like the Trump thing where Trump, you know how Trump holds on to the podium, except his legs were really far back, like he was expecting a gift from Putin early. And yeah. Oh, and they've removed Cesar Chavez's name from the Labor Day protests and the because of he might be a kid diddler. Yeah, that's rough. And then let's see. Yeah. Other than that, I guess it was just what we'll go with Jake Paul's armpits during the. That's the other one apparently that's cascading all this stuff is going on, and Shitter is concerned with the fact that Jake Paul is a sweaty mess, and that he sweat through a suit, which we already saw. All right, and now, of course, Trump said a lot of stupid things, and you've probably seen them about Japan, for example. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? It was one of those. We got to have a surprise attack. Nobody knows more about surprise attacks than Japan. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? I suppose they could do why didn't you guys tell us about the 2 nukes headed our way so we could tell citizens to leave the cities? It's crazy. Anyways, but he had where is she? The newly elected kind of, a Trumpian Japanese leader in the White House. And we had this little moment. Sorry, my one of my button things went dead. When your buttons start to go, that's the first sign. But, I mean, this was awkward as hell, as most things are. It's funny, but anytime he has a bilateral meeting on one of these gaggles with a foreign leader, it's just going to launch a bunch of BS. But we have bigger fish to fry than just the fact that he's an embarrassment. I'll give you an example real quick.
Mr. President, do you intend to lift sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
Okay, so in case that was a little fluffy, do you intend to raise sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to put boots on the ground? Whoops, sorry.
Put troops
Hold on.
anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you.
He goes, I'm not going to put troops anywhere, but if I were, I wouldn't tell you. Well, then you just did. By saying you're not, that's the same thing.
But I'm not putting troops, and we
I wouldn't tell you if I was or I wasn't, but I'm not.
will do whatever is necessary to keep the price as low. I actually thought
We will do whatever's necessary to keep the price as low as it is now, at like $113 a barrel or $97 a barrel for Brent crude, as low as it is now. So this is the new bottom. Awesome.
did this, look, the Dow just hit 50,000 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and where is it now?
They said that couldn't happen for 4 years. It wouldn't happen in my term. It's such a outrageous thing because I said it would happen. I didn't know it was going to happen that fast, but just.
Did you know it was going to go back down to where it was when they said that as fast? Or I would argue faster?
50,000, and we did that in 1 year, not 4.
Also, we nothing. It's everything to do with new AI companies coming online and the enormous expenditures and value add of those particular companies. The top 7 are driving this whole thing up, and everybody's just dumping money into it because they don't want to be left behind on whoever gets ahead. This is, a new industry was basically birthed during the last 2 years of Biden. It was going this way. And the only thing he's actually done is wreck that natural trajectory.
S&P had just hit 7,000. They said that was even more impossible than the Dow hitting 50. And we did that in 1 year. So it's all done.
Also, again, the we. Notice how Republicans never think that the president does any good for the stock market, any good for jobs until a Republican gets in, and then they just take all the credit for all the hard work you guys are doing out there in America land.
Everything was going great. The economy.
It was great. And then
was great.
Some asshole dragged us into a war in Iran.
Oil prices were very low. Gasoline was dropping to, we had $1.99, $1.85. We had great everything. And I said,
we had great everything.
What was happening in Iran? And I said, I hate to make this excursion, but we're going to have to do it.
Incursion.
And I actually thought the numbers would be worse. I thought that it would go up more than it did.
By the way, we'll see the Tulsi Gabbard stuff where he was basically not briefed about gas and oil at all, other than it goes up a lot. There was no detail in that briefing.
But we're doing this excursion, and when it's completed, we're going to have a much safer world. And the Prime Minister agrees with me on this. She
Really?
considers it to be terrible what Iran did. I think every country does, just about every country does. Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. I
Now do North Korea.
think virtually every country agrees with me on that. So I wanted to put out that fire. And
By starting a fire.
I said, you know, if we do that, oil price
We did start the fire, 'cause the world wasn't burning until this dipshit start churning, and we did start the...
will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually.
Really? So that's why you had a one of those Oval Office broadcasts where you're like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to launch this war in Iran, or I just gave the order and it happened last night, and it's going to affect the economy, but don't you worry, things are going to be great. Is that why you did that Saturday night after you launched the attack? I'm fucking with you. You didn't say anything.
I thought there was a
Is it, hindsight being legendary. Just make up what you thought before something happened.
chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon. We've
Pretty soon.
obliterated their Navy. We've obliterated their just about everything there is to obliterate. And
That's right. We're obliterating obliteration. Like even the term doesn't mean anything anymore.
including leadership. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us. They have...
By the way, the idea that we couldn't do this was never a question. Anywhere, almost. I mean, short of somebody launching a nuclear war, the reality is that the United States, with the military that we have, could win a war against China right now. We could. We actually could. It would be ugly. It would take a lot of lives. But we could be, as long as nobody launches a nuke either side and it's a conventional war, on the measures, a gentleman's pugilist moment, we would win. Because we have so much gear and so much like satellites and basically a control net over almost the entire globe. We are really the only superpower. Like Russia would have to join them, and a couple other countries would have to join them to even make a dent. It's never been about could. It's about judgment. It's about most of the times, the strongest thing you can do is not use the strength you have when it's wrong.
I mean, and as you know, their leadership is gone.
Well, no, they've got a new leadership, and they'll make new leadership. It's a religious leadership. They'll find a new person.
The leaders are gone. They pick new leaders, they're gone. They pick new leaders, they're gone. And
by the way, that's mostly Israel.
they're looking for new leaders again.
Right. By the way, there's been a few stories about how the Trump administration was mad that Israel hit oil refineries and processing facilities, but they're also equally mad about killing the leadership because Trump thought he was going to pull a Venezuela and just get some dude who was afraid that he had a gun to his head for the rest of his life that we could effectively control. That was the idea. All the things that maggots have said about Ukraine and how we formed a coup and all that horse shit is exactly the play Trump has wanted to make in Iran. Israel screwed that up because that's terrible for them. Strategically, that's a bad idea. Like for them, regime change is the safest road. And if you have a chance, you take it. That's why that's in their strategic world, no matter what. The Iranian leadership has to go. They either have to be so crippled that they're basically left to deal with small insurgent groups elsewhere and become another Hezbollah or Hamas that you can deal with over time. But they've got to topple the leadership or they're screwed. And they'll never get a shot like this again. So they're going to go through with it. And Trump is too stupid to realize that if you open this can of worms, Israel would be stupid not to pour acid in the can. And they're equally as mad because he thought he was going to make a deal with people because he thinks everybody is as transactional as he is. That's why he thinks this dippy excursion is going to be as easy as Venezuela.
We can take out the island. if anytime we want. I call it the little oil island that sits
Do you?
there. So
You call it the little oil island, do you? In meetings? In meetings with the Pentagon and the intelligence community and your cabinet, you call it the little oil island. I hope to God there aren't other little oil islands in the area, which there are, because they might just go, which one does he mean? By the way, it's Karg Island. He just can't ever remember that.
we've taken out everything but the pipes.
Yeah. So we took out all the things that were holding the oil, and we took out all the docks where the oil would go. But the pipes between those two places, they're fucking pristine.
We left the pipes because to rebuild the pipes would take years for them to do.
Okay. The rest of it can go, though. The rest of it they'll put back together in a couple of days.
But I would say we are substantially ahead of schedule. And I had
Yeah, just like the ballroom. You could just look out the window. There's a giant hole in the ground. It's just like Iran.
this. I call it an excursion.
Yeah, we know, and it's stupid.
I had to take this little excursion.
Yeah, it's just a little excursion that is costing us lives and killed 170 Iranian children plus. We don't even have a way of gathering a real number.
And do something that no other president had the courage to do.
No, sometimes it takes courage not to do it. Anybody can be a blustery, like macho asshole when they have the might of the U.S. military to pull from.
And
Oh my
everybody.
God, thank you, Angela, so much. By the way, hype train us in Twitch, will you? We need some action over there. I was digging into the background over there. We're doing okay, actually, in our numbers over there, but we got to make a stank.
Wanted to do it, but they never had the courage to do. And I don't blame them. I'm not blaming them. It was left to me, and we've done a great job. Our military is incredible. We have an incredible military.
We always have.
We have the strongest military in the world by far.
He's going to do this whole, like, I rebuilt it in my first blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Anyways, point being, chat room, is that this whole, like, I'm not going to put troops in, but if I was going to tell you, and but I'm not, means he's already given the order to. They sent a Marine Expeditionary Force over there. The Strait of Hormuz is still basically closed. Opening it is the key aspect of making this war more palatable for his own supporters. So you're damn straight we're going to have Marines and Green Berets and other people entering Iran on the Iranian side of the Strait of Hormuz. Just get used to the idea. So I want to move on because I don't want to get too far into any of this insanity, because there is a deep, dark hole to fall down on all of these. But one of the biggest moves that we've seen is this whole Joe Kent thing, right? Is that, Joe Kent, the director of the Counterterrorism Center, one of the guys that Trump wanted to have the DNI job, but they knew he could not because of his Nazi flirtations. They knew they could not see him getting through the Senate. So they put him in an appointment role that doesn't require it and let him sit there as kind of an acting person. Maybe they'd try and bump him up later. If they ditched her, he could be the acting DNI during the last part of his term, and they could just punt on the Senate confirming him. They were really putting him in the Pez dispenser for this. Meanwhile, he's done exactly what maggots were kind of expecting, which was, be no more foreign wars, no wars for Israel, all that kind of stuff, that they thought was actual beliefs of Donald Trump, their actual philosophy to MAGA and America First, which is ridiculous, and of course it is, and everybody can see that. To quote butt crack forehead over there, obviously. But I don't know who they think we were sabotaged by. I might need to watch the clip to figure out who, quote unquote, we were sabotaged. I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I must set it straight. That's Watergate, right? So I don't know. It's a mystery who they think sabotaged the MAGA movement, America. I don't know. Somebody might be able to figure this out over time. This is Trump's former counterterrorism director finally confirms what we've all been thinking. That apparently this is trans people's fault, I'm certain, if it's Tucker. That they're demons. They're truck stop demons who will bend you over a sink in the men's room and drive you right into a war with Iran, ladies and gentlemen. So that's Joe Kent, and that's butt crack forehead over there. Tucker Carlson is what the maggots are calling him these days. Well, it depends on which maggots we're talking about, I guess. Cat turd and all those folks.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No.
No, they
No. We all know this.
weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no...
Yeah, but Tulsi Gabbard can't talk about it except in a closed-door session, so she can't tell you whether she told them they had one or not, or whether they do have one or not, or whether she thought they had one or not, or whether they actually do or not, or if they've got new information or old information, or if she talked about it or didn't talk about it. Thank you so much for that super chat. Damn it, it jumped right as I looked at it. Thank you.
intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted. The Iranian strategy, it's actually pretty pragmatic. The Iranians are obviously aware of what's taking place in their region.
Why?
And their strategy was to not completely abandon their nuclear program because they saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi in Libya when he said, hey, I've got no more nukes. I'll do what you say. I'll give up my nukes.
And we gave him the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, we regime changed him, and he was executed by his own people in the most horrific way.
Sodomized by a bayonet. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what...
That is funny. Also, by the way, now do Ukraine giving up its nukes? And how Russia uses the fact that it has nukes, and Tucker Carlson has backed them on this to force everybody to let them attack Ukraine. Because not only would they threaten to nuke Ukraine, but nuke Berlin and London and Paris.
the lesson I think that the entire region took from that.
Yeah.
When
I think the lesson that I personally taken is hold on. Yeah, is
I like wood.
you know what I mean? That's the
Deeper and longer.
Hillary Clinton.
Unfortunately, that is what the
killed.
neocon, neoliberal warmongers, that's the lesson that they showed everyone in the region. And then conversely, the Iranians also knew that if they came out and said, okay, we've got a nuke, whether they were bluffing or not,
Right.
Saddam Hussein, Iraq right next door. So they kind of
And
had
he
this,
hung, I think.
He was hung by his own people, after a bloody, war that's still essentially going on inside of Iraq.
Is it essentially still going on?
So the Iranians' position, when viewed from the lens of the region, was actually fairly pragmatic. They were preventing, themselves from developing a bomb.
Could it possibly be, and I know I'm going out on a limb here, could it possibly be that this shit started with the Bell maps and the fact that a lot of these countries were never countries, were never established boundaries where land was either purchased or taken? It was actually drawn by an outsider who was just making her best guess.
But they still wanted the ability. They wanted the ability to enrich. They wanted the ability to have some components so that they weren't completely stripped of it. And when we
Right, so they could MacGyver one together if they needed one. Not even put it on a rocket, just be able to drive it someplace in a truck or put it on a boat.
always assessed that they were either several months or a year, 2 years away from actually being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And that's not because the Iranians are stupid people. I think we can tell right now that the Iranians are anything but stupid. They had the ability, I think, that the brain power to actually develop one, or they could have simply traded a ton of oil with Pakistan or with someone else to actually get a nuclear weapon.
Which they may have already done, for the record. I mean, part of the whole idea that they have the components for a nuclear weapon or the ability to have one, and this whole bum rush is the idea that they may have smuggled one or bought one either from North Korea or gotten it through Russia or got it, been holding on to crap components since '91 or some shit like that. That's what the PNAC guys were always hoping for as an excuse, even if they were just reverse engineering a shitty one that, the mechanics of which Russia left behind or something, that was enough of a scare to rattle at everybody else. The point of this is that they weren't that close to having one by any stretch. And the value of having one was diminishing by the day. And so Trump, in many ways, was running out of days where this threat would actually be worth a damn. That he literally was running out of days when he could actually say they were close, even as a mythology. With every month that passed, it was, the leverage that the Iranians had with the rest of the world was, we don't have one, we don't want one. And the more people believed that, and the more they actually moved away from it, the more they made themselves the innocent victim of an attack, and Trump fell for it anyways.
They were not doing that. We had no intelligence to indicate that they were.
Then why was the president, was he told that they were on the brink of it? Why at the beginning of it?
Yes, but he was also told that they weren't. Tucker's been pushing this whole, Netanyahu or somebody in the DNI or John Bolton hypnotized Trump. He must be innocent. It's like what Philip Bittner always talks about, that if the czar only knew. Trump can't possibly know that he's making a giant mistake here, right? That's their opinion. A, it's not a mistake. He's doing it on purpose. B, he's for it. It was his idea. He wanted to do it. It's cover for his shit economy and the Epstein files.
Every conversation about Iran, would the president say, I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Why was that the central question when, and you would know since you were the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, why would he say that if there was no intelligence or evidence that they were actually developing a nuke?
That's a good question. Why? Let's think about that for a moment, shall we? Why would he say that if it wasn't true at all? Why would he say he's worried about that if everyone around him was telling him it's nothing to worry about? Why would he say that was his reasoning if everyone around him was telling him there's no evidence that that's actually occurring? Why? Why would that be? I'm going to go with...
That was just bullshit, Joel.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he's a liar, and you've been enabling him as a liar this whole time. And the only way you can save face is to make him look like an innocent victim, or that there's some sort of practical magic they're using on him.
So a couple things. This is what I talk about in the letter about this ecosystem of information that's laundered through a lot of prominent neoconservative types that are very...
You mean the people he put in place? He actually gave you mean the people he hired to be in his cabinet? People he insisted on being there? He also hired John Bolton before. You do realize this, right? Next do the Epstein files and Bill Barr. Holy shit.
Sympathetic to the Israeli cause, and then also Israeli government officials who give us things in semi-official channels. What they did was they...
Oh, you mean Jared.
Created basically a shifting red line or a new red line. So that if the president's red line was Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, we've actually got a lot of trade space in there for a deal to be made.
Right, that's what Obama did, and you guys shit on him left and right, especially this guy, Tucker Carlson. All of them attacked Obama because of the deal he made that was actually working.
Because of what I just described with the Iranian policy, essentially.
Right, which Obama had a part in helping establish through moments of trust between them and us.
The Iranian saying...
And Trump scuttled that last term. Do any of these assholes think that he wouldn't do exactly what he was doing now in his second term if they had been consecutive? On the same goddamn timetable. How deluded are these assholes? And again, half the time I'm like, they must be just high on their own supply. But the rest of the time I'm like, no, I think they're just covering their own ass now.
Okay, well, we don't want a nuclear weapon. Well, that means we basically are at a point where we can start negotiating and we can come up with a deal. And the president is a fantastic deal maker.
No, he is not. There is no evidence that he is a fantastic deal maker in general. The tariff deals suck. It's just him using the leverage of the U.S. government and our consumer base and our economy as a cudgel to beat other countries into submission. That's not a deal.
So if your goal is to move us away from any kind of deal and your goal is to move us into a conflict, you have to shift that red line.
Right. And so Trump consistently shifted his own red line, this motherfucker.
And that's where a lot of this, I would say, what became a de facto U.S. policy of Iran can have no nuclear enrichment. It was laundered through a lot of the different talking heads, Mark Levin.
Who cares?
And Mark Dubowitz. You've got the foundation.
Yeah, they all say it. The question is, why did Trump listen? Why is he... So the defense for Trump right now, for Tucker Carlson and Kent and all these assholes, Kent, is Trump is a useful idiot for Israel. That's the best they can do.
For the defense of democracies, you name it. Washington, D.C. has plenty of pro-Israeli lobbyists who will come and say those things.
Yeah, and they have guys like you as the director of counterterrorism center that Trump put in place who are saying the opposite, and he chose to listen to them instead of you. Jesus Christ, I feel like that old parenting story. Like, if your friend told you to jump off a cliff, would you too? Like, no.
Who will publish think pieces on it? Who will go on the media? Who will run?
Who cares? There's plenty of think pieces about this is a shitty idea. It's dangerous. It's stupid. It's ill-informed, ill-advised. It's a mistake. It's a quagmire waiting to happen.
Op-eds in the Wall Street Journal to talk.
Yeah, which Trump reads. Yeah, that's what it was. He was mesmerized by an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. Who read it to him?
About this, why they can't have any enrichment whatsoever. And then we have a high degree of engagement with Israeli government officials who will come in and say, well, they're enriching and they could enrich or they could enrich more, and that will get them closer to a nuclear weapon. So then enrichment...
Yeah, closer to enrichment leading to closer to a nuclear weapon when they don't have the capabilities to actually enrich that much. Two things. One is the Israelis aren't the only ones with skin in this fucking game. And the last call to Trump before he launched this attack about getting the okay was from MBS. So the rest of the Middle East, has a say in this as well. And if they think this dumbass is going to knock off the leadership of one of their mortal enemies, they're going to take it, especially when they don't have to participate. They can sit back and let us get a target on our back for the next 2 decades.
Basically became the new U.S. policy. And the only official I've heard, and folks are welcome to look for this, that said this in the first Trump administration was Mike Pompeo.
I'll get to the other point in a minute after that.
Pompeo. He said it. The president didn't say it. The president has been very consistent. He said they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Well, they don't. And they didn't. And they weren't close last year, and they're not close now, and they weren't close before the attack. So what is the standard by which they can never have a nuclear weapon? They can never share a border with a country that does? They have to cease to exist? I mean, that seems to be it. They can't be friends with Pakistan anymore, right? They have to start a war with Pakistan, so we know that Pakistan's not going to slip them a nuke.
But again, like I said...
Obviously, it's not that they can't be friends with Russia anymore, because Russia could do the same thing, because, if they help target some of our soldiers, it's what we do.
It puts us at a place where we actually could have negotiations. And only President Trump, I think, could successfully have negotiations.
You're a lunatic.
With Iran, because...
You're a moron.
He actually...
Why? Because he destroyed the deal we had. Who the fuck? Who has a negotiation with, in good faith, with a person that broke the last deal you had that was working? You were complying with this deal, and he scuttled, he tore it up. And after all the back and forth you had to go through to actually secure the goddamn thing, he said it was the worst deal that was ever made. And then when he comes back, what's the deal he's looking for? What is it? It's the exact same thing. It's the Obama nuclear deal over again. It's just, I guess, the idea is that it never sunsets. So you can never have nuclear power in perpetuity throughout the universe and elsewhere. If in 100 years, in 150 years, if both countries still exist, America, the minute they try to use a nuclear reactor instead of oil and gas or whatever, we've all moved on. The rest of the world's moved on to solar, wind, and nuclear as, you know, as our primary renewables and our big power drags. And if Iran tries to have a nuke in 112 years, we have to bomb them.
Them in the face. And the
It's so goofy.
all over us. They have been killing our soldiers. All of that is true. I have no sympathy whatsoever for the Iranians, what their proxies were doing. President Trump level set that when he killed Qasem Soleimani and he killed Abu Mahdi Mohandas.
No, he didn't. You don't level set that unless that was the genius behind it all. You could stop the U.S. nuclear program at a certain point if you killed Oppenheimer. But if you killed some of the other scientists that were working on it, even if you did kill Oppenheimer, there were like 8 other guys who still knew how to do it, and they would, step into that position because it was a knowable technology. Qasem Soleimani wasn't conjuring IEDs out of a fucking cauldron because he had a magic amulet. And when you kill that guy and he's replaced by somebody else, that somebody else doesn't want to die. And they also have to look like they, whether they do or not, want to get revenge on the people who gave them a job by having somebody to replace.
The folks who wanted to push an actual regime change war,
like Donald Trump,
in Iran knew this, and they knew there was a potential to get a deal, or there was a potential for President Trump just to continue the policy of maximum pressure sanctions, and if you come after us, we will hit you hard. And that got the protesters out on the street in Iran, and that's actually what the regime feared the most. I don't think the Ayatollah feared dying, not because he, is some crazy lunatic. I'm sure some degree of the Shia martyrdom culture played a factor in that. However, I think he knew that if he was killed, the regime would survive because the people would rally around the regime.
I believe you predict.
all right, that's a mess. That whole take is... I for one, never thought that guy was qualified to be director of the Counterterrorism Center. Almost everyone Trump hires is either a psychopath or a fuck-up, oftentimes both. But that kind of namby-pamby, vacillating gibberish, that the entire goal of that entire monologue was just to take the blame away from Trump and put it in some sort of magical whispering Jew or some like op-ed that he read and was like, oh shit, we got to strike now. I don't care what any of these assholes say. It's nonsense. The people that he hired that told him this would be a good thing, he listened to them. And the people that he hired that told him not to do it, he told them to fuck off. That's because it was his decision and his, I was about to say, like his grasp of the information, but it's more like lack thereof, like his inability intellectually, spiritually, socially, psychosexually to gather any information together in any kind of cohesive form.
This, some years ago, I think we're watching. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what we're watching, but it seems
That's how I feel when your show is on.
consistent with what we are watching. So I'm just focused on this question of imminent threat because
There was none. There was none. There was none. Are we good?
that's really the only justification I think most Americans would accept for a preemptive war.
Yes, an imminent threat means 24 hours. Not in 2 weeks they're going to do this, not in a month. They have the possibility, the ability, they're building towards, blah, blah, blah. 24 hours. That's imminent threat. It's
done because Bibi told you to, and no one wants to get behind that because it's obviously illegitimate.
obviously didn't happen either. And again, I don't give a fuck if Bibi Netanyahu screamed at him to do it. He decided to do it. It's not taking. Let's just draw a line here for all the maggots in the world. Knock it off. I don't care if Mark Levin and Netanyahu and all these were clamoring and yelling at him that he has to do this now. He decided to do it. If you're in a situation where the only people around you are telling you to jump off a cliff, if you do, it's your fucking fault. You surrounded yourself with those people. You listened to them. And you jumped off the cliff. Like, nobody gives a shit if you're yelling, "They told me to," all the way down to the bottom of the... It's idiotic. All of this is just polishing Trump's turds. All of this. Either Trump is this magically responsible businessman who knows more about ISIS than the generals and more about oil than, I don't know, Daniel Day-Lewis's character in There Will Be Blood, knows more about aliens than Elon Musk and the people who work in the basement of Area 51. He's always smarter, better, better memory, more awareness of the details. He's a great deal maker and a businessman and all this fiction about him. And yet all it took was Netanyahu going, "You should probably do this. You should probably go in and bomb them right now." He's like, "Oh, where's the button?" It's not about him in that case. Also, you're embarrassing yourself, Tucker. So is Joe Kent. All of these people who are clamoring to excuse Trump's decisions in these situations, in all of these areas, like somebody told him to. You voted for him. You made him the president of the United States. You made accusations against the person who was before him and his successor that were blatantly false, like just absolute lies and sexist and racist and bigoted on a bunch of fronts, just to crowbar Donald Trump into a second term. So the idea that he just got hypnotized, he was drunk at a party, I didn't remember what I was doing, and that's why we're at war in Iran, and that you guys are somehow, caught off guard by him doing exactly what he said he was going to do in between him saying what he wasn't going to do. We no more these foolish wars, but if we do have one, we keep the oil. Also, I was getting us out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength, but we're going to keep Bagram because it's an hour from where Japan or China makes their nukes, right? We weren't going to leave. He didn't get us out of Afghanistan the first 4 years because he wasn't going to leave. He had no plans to leave. He wanted to keep Bagram forever, whether the Taliban came back or not. And that would mean that our soldiers would be at Bagram surrounded by hostile forces, both the Taliban and ISIS and all their offshoots, forever. So the idea that he got somehow, like, somebody fucking dangled a watch in front of his head and he was like, "I don't want to do Iran, but I've gotta. I'm powerless." They're excusing him to excuse themselves. It's pathetic. And I'm going to move on from that because, again, there's plenty of Joe Kent to go around in this regard. And I got to say, they're jumping down Netanyahu's throat, and he deserves it because fuck him. But why are they leaving out some of the other voices in MAGAdom that are, pro-Trump in any decision he wants, that are yes-manning him into this situation? Like our dear friend, the most miserable man on the internet, Greg Kelly. Why is my button not working all of a sudden? Probably because it just doesn't want to, I think. That's the issue. Come here, you. There we go. There's a slight delay. It just didn't want to do it. Greg Kelly, the United States is totally dominating Iran. This is amazing. Bro, it's so cool. We're doing it. I never thought we could do it. Again, there was never any question that we could do it. All the questions were about should, which is why previous presidents didn't do it, sought to avoid it. But let's see. Greg Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, the most miserable man on the internet.
Wiping out their missile capacity, taking out all of
They're trucks.
They're drones, and where
Well, that was a truck, but
they keep them and make
maybe it was a box drone.
them, making sure they don't ever even think about getting a nuclear bomb again.
I'm sure they're thinking about it forever. I think the rest of their lives are going to be, we should have done it sooner.
And
We should have done it during Trump won, because maybe we could have gotten there before he got up the nerve to hit us.
let's say
There's the drone now. You should reverse those video clips. Is there somebody? You know what you should do before your show? Write down what you're going to say, and then talk to the editors and the director of your show, who I think lives in a real house, and they can just, when they're piping the video to you in the plastic Home Depot shed that you do your show out of, you can, you'll at least know the order.
all of this, I think, is discouraging them from waging terrorist attacks all over the world.
No, it's not. If anything, the thing you can count on is that this will lead to terrorist attacks. If they don't have any other recourse, believe me, if they want to kill Americans or any of our allies or any people like that, the only recourse they will have, dickhead, is terrorism. And what the fuck? If you're attacking somebody in their homeland by driving a truck through a parade or doing a suicide bomb or shooting into a bar in Austin, what difference does it make if a bomb hits someplace outside of Tehran? To you, you can go hit another bar, I guess. Terrorism will be the direct response. Yet another reason why previous presidents didn't do this, because you can tell that this was the natural recourse.
At will, it looks to me like this is very, very effective.
Does it? Even though it's in black and white? It looks like the bombs are making things go boom. Greg, really?
Iran obviously doesn't like it. Democrats
Obviously doesn't like it. Is that what's obvious? Are you sure? Sure they're not rope-a-doping?
don't like it. Media don't like it, but when
Yeah, well, you're not media, so.
have they ever been right about anything?
The Vietnam War, the Iraq and the Afghanistan War, the Epstein files, tariffs, Trump's tax cut, national debt, the idea that Trump was not going to cut the deficit. Do you want me to keep COVID? You do know the news is, you cite the news, the traditional news sources that you quote them a lot on your show, because they have reporters getting real information and putting it together.
All right.
Also, again, what does the media mean? I guess you could slather being wrong across like Andrew Sullivan and fucking Rogan and all these people. It's all media these days. Hey!
Let's go through some of the numbers we have.
Let's go. Numbers are rock, man. You get right past the why and whether it's a good idea to the what, which is fucking great, man. It's like watching apartment fires. It's just, after a while you're like, I hope nobody's in there. But after, past that point, you're like, it's just the fire, man. Look at that. It's just, the fire escape fell off. That's ironic.
So far from CENTCOM, 7,800 plus targets have been hit
Out of 40,000 potential targets.
by our aircraft and Israeli aircraft. All right, what else? 8,000 combat missions
Sorry, so they only drop a bomb every 2 flights?
flown. Wow, that is a lot. Both
It is. It's a lot. Yeah, a lot of airplanes in the air going vroom. Highway to the danger zone.
land-based and sea-based from aircraft carriers.
Well, that's why they call them that, Greg. They carry aircraft.
The campaign.
You know what? Oftentimes, that's how the aircraft gets there in the first place. You get 2 flights no matter what.
Epic Fury, it's called, right?
No, it's Epstein fervor, I'm calling it.
Let's go ahead and see a little bit more combat.
Yeah, let's see a little more combat. We don't need to. Why? Whether this is a good idea, ill advised, whether it could lead to blowback for decades. Let's see some combat, baby.
It is very
We're watching porn. Let's fast forward past the dialogue, right, Greg?
one-sided. We're not seeing too much from them.
But we're seeing enough to shut down airports, the Strait of Hormuz, and kill some of our servicemen
At
and
all.
women.
because they don't have much to fight with anymore. A few more numbers to go through.
Yeah, just give us the numbers, baby.
Let's see here.
100.
120 Iranian naval vessels have been damaged or sunk.
Yeah, what's the divide on those? Trump says they're all sunk. That, quoting somebody from World War II, we've decided to share the ocean with them. They're taking the bottom half. That was the line from World War II that Hegseth lifted. Do you think it matters, like, level of damage, how, whether those are, you can repair them and whether they can back in the action or whether they're permanently damaged or whether they're sunk? There's a lot of varying degrees,
Yeah.
They're all on fire. What do I know?
And then again, they did get a tanker or two.
They did. They got a tanker or two. What's a couple of civilian soldiers? I mean, there are civilians, sailors going through the area. There's only 40,000 civilian sailors in the area, and hundreds of boats. So, you're going to lose a few, I guess.
But we sunk their flagship vessel, and they essentially have no more navy.
Essentially.
What else?
That essentially doesn't mean they don't, and that the speedboats and the smaller boats planting mines can basically shut the Strait of Hormuz indefinitely.
How?
Seriously, indefinitely. They can, just those little boats, just like localized terrorism. Wait till you get to improvised explosive mines, sea mines.
How many have we killed of their leadership? Pretty much everybody.
Pretty much. Somebody's still in charge.
Pretty much all of them
Pretty much.
are gone.
Pretty much.
We take no pleasure in this, but they
You kind of do.
had ample opportunity to change their ways, and this is
They did have ample opportunity.
their ways. They don't change.
That's the thing, that you can't fear change. To change with change is the changeless state. And also, when you're getting on the bus, Greg, it's best to have exact change.
The USS Tripoli, a amphibious assault ship, could be there in 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, and won't they have egg on their face? They're going to have to turn right around. This is all going to be over. It's pretty much over anyways. Pretty much everybody's dead. Pretty much everything's gone. So I don't even know why we're still sending them. We should just call them back.
On board, some 3,000 to 5,000 Marines, if you count
Man, you say that like it's awesome.
in all the other ships that are
There's between 3,000 and 5,000 Marines that will have to go ashore someplace fucked up.
on their way. They have their capacity certainly to take land targets, Karg Island and the rest.
Yeah, but we don't need that. We're not going to do that. Trump said we're not going to put boots on the ground, so you can't. Even on the little oil island.
Will they? Something tells me it just might be over when that ship gets to the Persian Gulf.
Okay, so that's your defense. My joke. That you think they're just going to get there and go, we finished. There's no pizza left. Go head back home, guys. Psych. That's what it is. It's Operation Psych.
We'll see. But
Yeah, we will.
it is a kinetic situation. That's what the military likes to call moving parts. And
That's what everyone likes to call moving parts. Have you ever watched a sporting event? You ever see? How about PT when people go for physical therapy?
combat operations, kinetic.
That's right. That means stuff is moving around.
And it's one that America and its ally Israel is totally dominating.
That's right. That's all you need to know. Dominating. It's dominating. And you can tell by the loop of black and white video of Boom Boom that we get to show on the regular. Now, the Joe Kent thing, while he ran into the loving demon fucking arms of Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent found a more chilly reception from some other maggot loyalists. The kind of people who would never give up their position when America's in a time of need. Somebody who would never, ever... actually, on second thought, it's actually a guy who quit, too. Except he didn't write a letter about why he quit. He just skulked off, trying to detach his name from the Epstein files debacle. Poorly, I might add. But this is Bangholio. This is just cowardly. Ugh. Yeah, pot kettle calling, line 2.
Former counterterrorism, quote, official Joe
Quote, official. No, he was official. He was the director, not quote, official. He was very official as the director, and Trump hired him for that role. So fuck you and your air quotes.
claimed there was no imminent threat from Iran, but we found just a few months ago, even Joe Ken himself disagreed with his own assessment, even calling the threat of Iran an existential threat. Take a look.
Well, it can be an existential threat without being an immediate one.
Since the Iranian Revolution in 1979, when radical jihadis essentially took over the government of Iran and they declared war basically on the West, but they also declared war on the vast majority of the Sunni Gulf states. And so what could...
Right, hence the whole it ain't just Israel thing that you seem to have dropped because nobody's going to bring you on, Tucker Carlson's not going to bring you on your podcast if you bring up the fact that the other Gulf states are also for this. And Trump has major business deals with all of them and has more at stake in those countries than with Israel.
And what the Trump administration did was they came in and they said, look, you guys actually have a common enemy. Iran is an existential threat to both Israel. It's an existential threat to the oil-producing Arab Gulf countries.
Mm-hmm. So he went to those guys and got them on board with attacking Iran. Curious.
And so that was the genesis of the Abraham Accords. Most Americans aren't aware of it. Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies.
We're aware of it. Yeah, we know. It's part and parcel to being in that part of the world. And also, they aren't just doing it, this will shock you, because Iran is paying for it. Iran is paying for it because these guys will do it and they don't have to send anybody. So it's a two-way street. You see, these people, you'll be shocked. Just like Trump was not, Manchurian candidated into attacking Iran, these proxy groups are not, it's not the Ayatollah ordering them to strike something. They're just financially backing it or giving or tacit agreement.
We should not sit and wait for the next attack, wipe Iran's ballistic capability out, and that came from him. And yet another blow to Ken's reputation, along with...
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough that Trump hired him. We know that it's a guarantee that he's an ideologue, a lunatic, or a fuck-up, or, in this case, all three.
The reputations of a handful of...
It's scary. It's very... I got to tell you, chat room, I'm torn about this. As I think many of you are. On the one hand, you're glad somebody steps down from, this debacle. Somebody resigns in protest like you're supposed to do when something's awful. But it's also somebody who, quite frankly, sucks. And so there's this, it's like Marjorie Taylor Greene all over again, only this guy looks more feminine.
Other on-again, off-again attention seekers, isolationists, Democrats. Today, the CIA...
Sorry, you don't get to drag us into your personal hell, asshole. Democrats? He's your dude. Wallow in your own shit, Sean.
Director Ratcliffe testified that the threat from Iran was immediate, confirming what Steve...
Immediate? Based on what?
Witkoff, who was in the room with the Iranians, said as well. Here to respond, former FBI director, Fox News contributor...
and professional quitter...
Dan Bongino...
who apparently thought the threat of, to the homeland that the FBI covers every day and the Epstein files were so serious and we were at such a hinge point that he thought he should get the fuck out of there because he's totally unqualified for the job. That's professionalism. That's heroic, and not at all turning tail.
Dan, you and I share a very similar way of thinking. When I heard,
really, which part? Oh, right. You'll both use Trump's anus as a bong at every opportunity.
You say that this guy saw what you saw, And there's no way he can make the conclusion that you've come to and the president came to, and except for two people that I know of around him, came to as well, that it was an imminent threat. And Steve Witkoff, what he said.
He didn't say imminent. He said immediate, according to you. I would have loved to see a clip of immediate. Can you arrange for that next time? Or is it just you don't know the difference between imminent and immediate? By the way, both of which are false?
Well, Sean, I could make the case to you that, and strongly, I saw a lot more. Listen, forget it. Say you're out in the listening audience or viewing audience out there and you just don't like.
Yeah, we are. And again, you're talking to Sean, but you're on television.
Fair enough. It's a republic. You're allowed to like or dislike whoever you want. You don't find it odd that nobody else has come out?
Like, Sean's just like, I like it. I like the war. I like bombing Iran, whether there's an imminent threat or not. I mean, where is the downside?
I like you too, buddy. Known you a long time. But listen, I'm not everybody's flavor ice cream, okay? Why?
Ew.
Why has no one else from the administration, if his case is legitimate, that this was not an imminent threat, don't worry about the death to America mullahs with 440 kilograms of enriched uranium that could create 10 or more nuclear bombs.
Could.
While you got a theological...
Hey, how long, what's the time frame on that? Is it another 2 weeks? Because it wasn't 2 weeks last time. And also, didn't we obliterate it? Is it not obliterated? I mean, I would almost understand if the second attack was about clearing the airspace so that we could land in those areas where we had bombed and fight off people as we dug up the uranium and the bomb-making stuff that was in the places we bombed and got rid of it. That would be a way of selling this to the rest of the world, I think, wouldn't it? Unless, of course, you just want to straight bomb a country to draw attention away from the Epstein files. Anyways, you don't know anything about the Epstein files, so go ahead.
Theocracy chanting, again, death to America. Even if that was correct, how...
Right, but they've been doing it for 47 years. The immediate threat part of it is hard to make if you're talking about something they have been doing consistently for decades.
How come no one's backed him up? Sean, listen, I've got no dog...
Yet. I mean, there might be other people who have already left or are going to leave.
In the fight anymore, outside of the fact that I just love the country and was proud of my service there. I'm not in the administration anymore.
We know you left just like he did.
Promise.
Well, not really. I mean, you slinked off and disappeared, and you didn't show up for work a few times that everybody thought was, wow, he's finally had it and he's going to spill the beans on the Epstein stuff because it's just a bridge too far. But instead, you quit, went back to your podcast, and started boosting Trump again. Who is all over the Epstein files, by the way. We'll get to the unredacted email that Dan Goldman showed on the House floor.
No one, absolutely no one. You have my word on my eyeballs. No one has called me and said, hey, can you go out there and like back us up? I have no dog in this fight other than the truth. I saw...
Yeah, nobody's going to ask you for help. You quit.
The entire body of intelligence up until I left. Nobody kept anything from me. I don't know what he's talking about. Can I just make a quick...
Also, maybe you kept things from you because you didn't do the rest of the homework? Maybe it was not in the bullet points?
For people having a hard time understanding this, because...
Yes. That happens a lot when you talk.
I've seen it in a lot of media coverage, and it's understandable. We're getting lost on the word imminent. There's a whole bunch...
Yeah, I know.
So like euphemisms games going on right here.
You mean the fact that Sean just said immediate?
Think of it this way. You've got... I live in Florida. You've got a hurricane brewing offshore, okay?
Okay.
Is it...
Yeah, right. And we should have nuked the hurricane, according to Trump. So
imminent? Well, maybe...
This actually is an apt analogy, sure.
4 or 5 days away. You've got 99% of meteorologists telling you it's going to be a Cat 5. We deal...
No. Bad analogy. Analogy just died.
With this like every year, right? What do? Do you prepare for it? You just say, you know what? I'm going to trust that 1 out of 100 guy who says it may be a Cat 3. Because...
Literally, that's one of the problems they have in Florida is people going, I don't believe this bullshit. And Trump lives in Florida. He's one of those people.
No one's saying it's not going to happen. That is what we're getting lost in, this word. And it's just insane. I mean, if you were in a criminal case trying to...
I think the better case would be is that every year they say it's going to be a Cat 3, a Cat 5, or well, one day there's going to be a Cat 6. and this might be it. And again and again and again, they tell people to leave, and this is going to be the one. And for 2 decades, they're like, it's a 3, it's a 5, but it's going to be a 6 this time. We know it's going to be a 6, and then it turns out to be a 3 or a tropical storm. And you're like, is it ever going to be a 6? I'm starting to call bullshit. And then apparently the storm calls and says, hey, we don't want to be a 6. It's a waste of our time being a 6. I would rather be a bunch of little tropical storms and never really have to go cat anything. And if we could work out some sort of a deal where you don't nuke me in the middle of the Gulf of America, I will, I will promise never to go cat 6. And they go, okay, look at that. The storm is playing ball. Is this analogy getting stupid enough for you? And then we make a deal with the storm, and it never goes cat 6. And then it becomes a tropical storm, and somebody goes, it's a tropical storm right now, but it could become a cat 5 or a cat 6, and it's going to wipe everybody out. And everybody goes, no, it's not. And then you hire a bunch of guys who believe that it's going to go cat 6, and then you nuke the hurricane. I know there is no cat 6. That's the point.
Prove intent. They're screaming death to America.
There is also no nuclear bomb in Iran, and no 2 weeks away either.
Nuclear material. They told Steve Witkoff they're not backing away. They have no intentions of surrendering.
By the way, from enrichment, period. Like that was the line. No enrichment, period, of any sort. Again, forever. You can never have a nuclear reactor to power you. And what are they going to use? Fucking hydropower?
They were offered a civilian nuclear program by Donald Trump. They were offered 1,000 exits off the Long Island Expressway, and they took none of them. That was for you, Sean. Well, formerly.
I left that.
Did he just call him Shirley?
I'm with you in Florida.
I know.
They're not taking,
I know.
Here, can we address something?
I don't know that you can, but I'd like to see you try.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish, bud.
Yeah, the point is, he gave them basically 10 years of off-ramps.
Basically, after he had blown up the off-ramps that were existing before, and they didn't trust, maybe they thought that, remember in Speed where they're like, take this exit and this will take you and you can loop around the airport, and then they said, oh, by the way, the freeway's not finished and there's a gap of 100 feet and you're going to have to jump the bus across the thing, and it, because of physics, wouldn't have actually worked and everybody on that thing would have died and blown up. But let's just say, and the Iranians are like, yeah, dude, this bus won't jump the gap in the off-ramp. You put a gap in the off-ramp that will kill us. And they went, no, dude, take the off-ramp. Like, just follow the map we're giving you into the ravine.
And they took none of them. So when they're telling...
Well, they had already done it before, and they didn't believe he would hold up his side of the bargain, I think. Again, that the off-ramp wouldn't exist when they used it. That the off-ramp was a cliff.
What they want to do, we want to create a nuclear weapon and kill you. I strangely have a tendency to believe them, given their history of terrorism and actually killing our people.
Well, again, even if you believe that, even if you go full in on this, it was obliterated last year. The idea that there's an imminent threat of any kind that would require this kind of a response after we had, quote unquote, obliterated their nuclear program is, I mean, the only way out of it is admitting that Trump lied or doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. And magically, I think he's one of the few people that can actually lie and be full of shit and self-deluded at the same time. Thank you so much for the super chat.
All right, let me put to rest something else.
Oh, good.
Known Donald Trump, both of us, for a long time. I've known him.
Yeah, you had the same fixer
for over 30 years.
Right. What did Michael Cohen fix for you, Sean Hannity? Why would you need a fixer? I've never had a fixer. I like the idea of it, I guess. If I ever needed, if my like when my refrigerator, it won't make ice right now, and so I need to bring in somebody to fix the refrigerator, and it'd be nice to call somebody and go, "Hello, who are you? I'm the fixer. Who do you want killed?" I don't actually. It's just my fridge won't make ice. I'm not that kind of fixer. Fuck. All right. Well, I'll keep your number handy in case.
There's two false narratives out there.
Two of them? Wow. Maybe there's the only two that chart.
One is
Is that you know what you're talking about, and the other is that he knows what he's talking about.
that Donald Trump is doing the bidding of other people or other countries.
Right. I agree. Totally false narrative. This is his fuck up 100%.
I've known the guy 30 years. He listens to everybody, listens to every point of view.
And yes, this is so good. Yes, say it, Sean. And it's his decision. He made this decision.
And then he's a man of his own mind. Good luck
That's, well, what's left of it.
trying to talk him out of something that he's going to do, period.
Right, which is bad when you're in the intelligence community and you're like, sir, we have other evidence that might need to factor into your thinking. And he's like, nah, I feel like they're going to have a bomb in a couple weeks. That's enough. I don't know. Like,
one.
he is a, yes, so we agree. He's a fucking toddler.
Number two, that he's out of touch with his base. No, he's not. This
Yeah, it's not his, that half of his base is out of touch with him. Do you guys not know how cults work? Okay, sit the fuck down and drink your Kool-Aid.
is in keeping with what he did with ISIS. This is in keeping with what he did with Soleimani.
It's against what he said he would do in all of his rallies.
Daddy, Midnight Hammer, and now Epic Fury. So I'm just a little tired of the outright lying and the propaganda and people with agendas and people.
Hi, the propaganda. This complaint, by the way, that he's about to voice is about maggots. It's about media maggots.
People chasing clicks and algorithms.
Yeah, Candace, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson, and the ever-growing crowd of people who find themselves making a lot of money and getting a lot of clicks off of being against this shit that were formerly huge boosters of his.
Which I guess equals money in their world. I don't know.
Yeah.
What their motivation is. Do you?
Probably they work for Iran, I guess.
Sean, this is cow.
Yeah, this is I wouldn't go to this picture. I wouldn't go to him doing the dual hand job dance at a boring rally that he had, I think, last week or like 5 days ago, while the war was going on, where everybody sitting there was like, ugh, this shit again.
By these people.
He said, this is cowardly. Hold on, back up.
Do you?
Sean, this is cowardly by these people who you mentioned who are doing this.
Why would be cowardly? I mean, you literally can get death threats for disagreeing with this dipshit, especially if you're a maggot.
Because what they do is they call out Donald Trump's entire cabinet and circle of friends and advisors.
But never him. I agree. Why isn't it his fucking fault? Thank you, Bongholio, who is looking for TP for his bunghole.
But they never call out Trump because they know they'll get crushed like a bug.
Right. Yes. They're afraid to. Yes. I was joking, but that's exactly why. It is cowardly. You're right. It's cowardly to blame his cabinet and forgive him. I love this clip. I rest my case.
You know it, and then the grift dries up. Then the money dries up.
Does it?
So what they do...
I don't know. It seems like a growth industry in Maggot Town.
...is because they have no balls. You say it again. No balls.
I don't think Candace Owens has balls. You've met her. I haven't.
Throw a pair. They don't want to take him on directly because he will crush them.
They kind of do, though. I mean, Joe Kent left and was pretty direct. I mean, they do tiptoe around him. I will say that. But I think they're just afraid that maggots will kill them. And I don't think it has anything to do with, like, they're afraid Trump will crush them. He hates them for disagreeing, period. They don't even have to blame him, and he's calling them traitors.
So they go about attacking everyone else.
Right, yes. Attack Trump. Leave his advisors alone.
Do this.
Yes, stop bothering Joe Kent.
All the time. And I call this the Donald Trump has no agency theory.
He had a modeling agency. It was he got the idea from Jeffrey Epstein, and he did that Look of the Year thing with David Copperfield, and they would 15-year-old girls, and he used to barge in on them and check their teeth while they were topless. Remember, he used to brag about that on Howard Stern. You mean that kind of agency? Oh, you mean like the January 6th maggots who apparently weren't going to attack the Capitol, but Ray Epps whispered in one guy's ear, "The cops are on our side, chill out," and that was the code to curb stomp their own.
Like Donald Trump.
Boy, God.
Doesn't have the ability to.
Let me back this up.
The Donald Trump has no agency theory. Like Donald Trump doesn't have the ability to think for himself.
Well, I would narrow it that much. I don't think he has the capability of thinking at all at this point. We're at straight up lizard brain. Like this is there's as much thought going into his decisions as your knee does when the doctor hits it with a rubber hammer.
Him longer than I have. I had the pleasure of working for him. You don't know jack squat about this guy if you think.
If you think anybody whispered in his ear and told him to do this is his own dumb decision. Thank you, Bongholio.
He's getting dog walked around by anyone. He's the one walking the damn dog.
Yes, he is dog walking himself. This is the worst case of self-dog walking in history.
Promise.
That's right. I promise. This idiotic move and this stupid strategic idea and this murderous insistence to bomb Iran or whatever is all him.
That's what I love about Dan Bongino. Dan, we have been friends a long time, and we always appreciate you coming on.
That's right. Now you've got a lot more free time because you quit your government job just like Joe Kent did. Only in a more cowardly sense because you left, you obviously did your job. You showed up and said Epstein killed himself and that the files were over and there's nothing to see here. And we now know, of course, that was a lie. You saw that information as much as you saw the Iran intel. So what are we supposed to believe? That you saw all the Iran stuff and you believe the reasoning for going into this, and that you also saw all the Epstein stuff and you think there's nothing there. There are no more co-conspirators to go after, that Trump wasn't involved, that you believe his story about kicking him out because he was a creep, which of course we now know is horseshit. Always was.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean.
No, thank you, dum-dum. Oh, by the way, I want to share this if I may. Dan Goldman, unredacted email Trump. Okay. Let's see if I can get the actual. I think they have as an image of it. Yep. So this is the email this was from Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers to the FBI about Trump and what Trump knew. And I gotta say, I don't think anybody is surprised that this is what was hiding behind. I've said from the beginning, anywhere it's blocked out and they're not showing anybody, it's all about Trump. It's about Trump and underage girls and how much more of a relationship they've had. He and Epstein had, and this proves it. This is I'd like to
yeah. If
go
they
through
ask,
this.
I forgot it.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing.
Yeah. We ain't saying nothing.
Below was redacted.
Black bar over my
this
past,
part.
can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom, redact this. Redact this.
That's right.
Bloody
We're
face,
redacted.
can't fact
This
check
whole
the
part right here was blacked out. And Dan Goldman went in and he got I'm not quite sure how. They're not allowed to take notes. They're not allowed to copy anything. But he secured this copy of it, including this phone number between this person was arranged. There's an actual 212-836-32. I think that's like SDNY or the FBI office there. And Jack Goldberger, there's his actual phone number at the bottom of this right there. Okay. So I guess we could call him in and ask if this is legit. You could, hey Comer, how about that? So this is Jeffrey Epstein ever expelled from Mar-a-Lago. According to this is Trump's lawyers saying this about this. No, he was not a member. He may have been a guest. He was never asked to leave. Let me say that last part again. He was never asked to leave. Not because he was a creep, not because of their fight over the real estate deal, not because he was stealing girls who were spa or not spa. he was never asked to leave. Mark Epstein said Trump was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Is that true? Trump's answer, I've been on a lot of planes, may have been on his plane, no young girls on the plane. Okay, a follow-up question was, has Jeffrey Epstein ever been on your plane? Were there any young girls on your plane? Yes, there were. An unnamed underage girl, a girl of indeterminate age, was brought onto the plane by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and a reporter for Maximum Golf was there. Corcoran was there, and he met her. Never got her name, curiously enough. I don't know that anybody did. I wonder if she was the one who tried to swim for her life off of Epstein's Island and was sharked. What do you know about the allegations against Jeffrey Epstein? Only what I read in the paper. Now, remember that whole bullshit about, thank goodness you guys are finally getting him. Thank goodness. Everybody knew what he was up to, right? That was the story. In 2019. Thank goodness. Everybody knew what he was up to. Except Trump, who apparently, hear no evil, see no evil, shit no evil. Was Trump ever at Jeffrey Epstein's house? Now, this is one of those that it sounds very nutlick. It sounds very, very nutlick. Let me see if I can scroll this fucker up a little bit. But it says, I may have been there with my wife. Well, which wife was that? You've had 3. And how do you know it was your wife and not one of the girls that he set you up with, besides Melania? So Melania has been to Jeffrey Epstein's house with you. You both went. Well, I got to say, Comer, you brought in Hillary Clinton. She was never invited there. And I mean, Clinton never went to the house or the island, but he was on the plane, right? And you asked Hillary Clinton about the time that her husband was on the plane where she was not present. But here's Trump saying that he was at Jeffrey Epstein's house with his wife. So she's a witness to when he was there, how many times he was there, were they there? I may have been there with my wife. Well, ever doesn't ask how often. Any young girls there? No, no. May have been children of guests, but that's it. May have been, sorry. So the girls that were there were children of the guests. Now, are these biological children, adopted children? Do they own them as property? Were they provided these children? Oh, that's his for the night by Jeffrey Epstein. There's a lot of ways to slice that sentence, wouldn't you say, legally, that give you cover? May have been children of guests, but that's it. Well, what if I told you they weren't? What if somebody told you, no, those aren't, nobody has 10 nieces who are all from the Czech Republic. And certainly the 6 that gave you lap dances weren't there as sisters of one of Nutlick's boys. Trump specifically asked Garland to advise us of the interview. Brad had also previously talked to the manager of Mar-a-Lago, Bart Kemp. Lemke confirmed Jeffrey Epstein was never asked to leave Mar-a-Lago. The manager was never asked to leave Mar-a-Lago. Both the Trump said this, his lawyers said this, and his staff said this. So let's just throw out everything everybody ever said about Trump kicked him out for being a creep. Flat out lie. It's been a lie for a long time. Everybody around him knows it. And if they didn't know it before, they know it now. So this is, let's starting from today to the rest of the end of time. Jeffrey Epstein was never asked to leave Mar-a-Lago for being a creep or any other reason. As a matter of fact, it seems like he got a free membership, like just a hang-around pass, because he was a creep. If he wasn't there as a member, how'd he get in? How'd he get in? Did Trump give him a buddy pass? Because I think that's a bigger deal. You almost could excuse poorly, but you could excuse the idea that he bought a membership to be around the rich and powerful. He paid to be there. He was a paying customer. We didn't have any real reason to kick him out until he was convicted of something, right? You could see the legal shuffle. But if he was never a member, how did he get inside? Can anybody who's not a member just walk on in? Does everybody, like, what's the point of having a membership if the local pedo can get a fuck you pass at the door? So who let him in? We've all seen Fletch. Did the Unger Hills let him in? Did he have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich please? How'd he get in if he wasn't a member? Did they call Trump and go, Jeffrey Epstein's here, can we let him in? He's not a member. Yeah. How'd he do it? I mean, that is a ginormous turd in this punch bowl. How did Jeffrey Epstein get into Mar-a-Lago if he wasn't a member? And he could come anytime he wanted? Sorry. He could get in anytime he wanted? And if he didn't, let's say he did there was a member that brought him in as a guest all the time. Who? Who else in Jeffrey Epstein's circle was a member that brought him there all the time? If it wasn't Trump. Should we talk to that person as well? Is there a list of people going, so-and-so's here as a member, and they have this guest here today. His name is Jeffrey. Where's that list? I know it exists. Maybe that's why they tried to flood the fucking server room like in 2024. But he was never kicked out. Not at all. Not ever. Not for anything. Not for spa, not spa. Not for, hitting on a member's daughter. Again, that was the cover story for a long time. Remember that horse shit? Because in Trump's world, you can fuck with the drug addicted, parents who have teenage daughters and lure their children into the sex trade all you want. But if you start messing around with the rich folk, then I gotta drop the hammer on you, buddy. Go farm the high schools locally. I don't give a shit about those poor people. It's white trash. They have it coming. But don't mess around with my money-making scheme. Think about how disgusting a human being you would have to be where that was your last straw. What'd you know about the allegations about Jeffrey Epstein? Only what I read about in the paper. Oh, you mean that he likes his social life and that I hear he likes girls on the younger side? Oh, wait, shit. I said that in an interview where I was boosting the fucker. And now we know that Trump and Melania were at Jeffrey Epstein's house. We don't know how many times. We don't know which house. The next question. The Palm Beach house? Yes or no? The New York house? Yes or no? Zorro Ranch? Yes or no? Every time you were on the plane, did they keep a record? Did they write down, did they go through and say, write up a passenger list every time you were on the plane or just a few times? Did you ask them to stop? Did you ever ask Jeffrey Epstein to not have your name on the flight logs? And did he comply? It's a question for Ghislaine Maxwell. Did anybody ever ask you to leave their name off the flight logs? Or ask the pilot or anyone else? And if so, where was the plane going when that happened? Was it St. Thomas, which was a boat ride from Epstein Island, where Donald Trump himself has a resort that apparently he has never been to? Of all the places he owns, he's never been to his place in the Caribbean. Ever. Ever. Not even when they were remodeling it, the way he likes to nitpick around and pick out curtains and toilet flush handles. Never. Who thinks, chat room, chat room, who thinks that this is the only email like this in the unredacted files or the unreleased stuff. And maggots, I'm mainly asking you. I know we have trolls in here, and welcome. As long as you don't use, racist or bigoted language, or you can sort of mind your manners, criticisms are welcome. Just don't be a shitheel about it. But do you really think that if this is one of the redacted emails, the one I showed you, you think that's it? Did you think it was it when the binders came out? Did you think it was it when the memo came from Pam Bondi? Did you believe that then? How many times are you going to have egg on your face for this dude? So, good work by Dan Goldman. It will not be the last time we see something like this. Let me show you the clip where he actually did it. This is the, hold on, whoops. Oh, sorry. I don't want to, it's an advertisement. Hold on, I'll wait till it bounces through. Anybody chat room? I'll just wait for that to come through. There we go.
I rise today to discuss this administration's massive cover-up of the Epstein files in order to conceal President Trump's involvement. This cover-up reached its apex last month when Attorney General Pam Bondi falsely testified under oath before the House Judiciary Committee. The Attorney General testified, quote, "There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that," unquote. This is a lie. In the 3 million or so documents that the DOJ has disclosed to Congress under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. And that, of course, excludes the nearly 3 million pages that the DOJ is refusing to turn over.
Hiding is the word. They are hiding them, which is also illegal.
Donald Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. There are multiple allegations that he sexually assaulted young girls. But I want to focus on one victim's allegations that the FBI unquestionably found to be credible.
Yeah, this is the Katie Johnson.
The DOJ tried to hide reports of 3 of the 4 interviews that this victim gave to the FBI. But pressure from the media and Congress forced them to disclose them.
Yes, that pressure came in the form of a veto-proof bill that reached his desk.
And now we know what.
That, by the way, if he hadn't vetoed it, would have become law within 10 days. He didn't have to sign it. But if his only recourse was to sign it because it would have just floated into law without him. And the only other thing his signature would do is to veto it. And he just didn't, he was too afraid, and rightly so, to do that.
She credibly accuses Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15. In each of her interviews, this victim recited the same account of her interaction with Donald Trump. On August 7th, 2019, she explained that she was between 13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be."
Jesus Christ.
Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis, bit the S out of it. Trump struck the victim and said words to the effect of, "Get this little B the hell out of here."
This is going into the Congressional record, I'd like to remind everyone.
The victim advised that she bit Trump's penis because he disgusted her. She provided some additional details in the next interview 2 weeks later, and then a month later, she met again with the FBI and asked, quote, what the point would be of providing the information at this point in her life when there was a strong possibility nothing could be done about it.
Gee, I wonder where she got that idea.
She didn't speak to the FBI again. But the FBI certainly found her story credible. In a 21-page PowerPoint presentation that the FBI made to prosecutors, they included,
which was also hidden,
this victim's testimony. They would not have done so if they did not find the evidence credible. which means that Attorney General Bondi lied when she stated under oath that there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. But we're just scratching the surface, because the Epstein files also reveal that Donald Trump has made false statements over the past quarter century about Jeffrey Epstein. We know in 2002 he called him a terrific guy and said, quote, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side."
The younger side of legal and ethical and moral.
In a birthday card 2003 that Donald Trump gave to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday, Donald wrote for himself that we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Enigmas never aged. Have you noticed that? A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. But in that same year,
right, I would argue this is one of the things that points to the fact that Trump was a fellow traveler and not a victim of blackmail under Epstein.
Palm Beach
hold on.
County opened
my ear.
An investigation into Epstein that eventually was turned over to the FBI. The investigation became public in 2006, and the Palm Beach County Police Chief received a call quickly after from Donald Trump, where Trump told him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him."
Right. By the way, there is no way Donald Trump said the words, "thank goodness."
Everyone has known he's been doing this. What innocent person calls the police chief about an investigation upon just learning about it?
Somebody who is afraid they will be called as a witness or as a co-conspirator and wants to make it seem like the person that's being arrested, if they shit on them, is doing it out of spite because they turned them in. I'm not in it with this guy. He'll say anything now. He knows I'm one of the people that talk to you guys.
The recent documents also show that Jeffrey Epstein emailed Ghislaine Maxwell and said, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." Trump also denied that he ever went on Epstein's plane. But of course, the Southern District of New York said that he was on his plane 8 times, often with young women.
Also, 8 times that they know about.
The reason why this matters,
just because there are records exist does not mean those records are complete,
is because we don't have half of the Epstein files. And if
you don't have 90% of the Epstein files, you have, if there are 6 million pages, you have half of that. There are not. There are 6 million documents, and no document is required to be 1 page long. A page is not a document. If there are 6 million pages, then have at it. You don't. You have access to documents. 6 million pages, 3 million pages is not half of 6 million documents. I keep hammering this because people have got to stop automatically saying this.
The Attorney General is covering this up in such a degree that she is redacting things from Congress, that she then redacting things from the public that she then shows to Congress. What else is she covering up? And I would just show that this document here was redacted to the public, it was unredacted to Congress, and it completely disputes everything that Donald Trump has said.
But you weren't supposed to show that.
About Jeffrey Epstein, about what he knew about the allegations, about his disgusting behavior, about whether he'd ever been to Epstein's house, saying, "I may have been there with my wife." Asked
also, which wife? Because Epstein was at the wedding to Marla Maples. He also knew Melania. He may have been there with both wives. My wife at the time and my wife now, which is my wife. But that was no longer my wife, but when I was there, she was my wife.
If any young girls were there, no. He may have had children of guests, but that's it.
Which again, what, you were there for what, a birthday party?
Well, we know that's not the case. Now, why is this important? Because if the Attorney General is covering up this information
and
that
she
then reveals to Congress, what else is she covering up about Donald Trump's involvement in
photographs, videos? Let's just start there. Polaroids. Multiple digital documents. That's the reality. No question. So, to all the maggots who have been doing this, he kicked him out for being a creep. That's a lie. And that the lie was not revealed to be a lie by people that hate Donald Trump or have TDS or any horseshit like that. It was revealed to be a lie by Trump and his lawyers to the FBI. He contradicted the lie. He brought the lie to what he had said. And Pam Bondi hid that fact from the American people. This is Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Now, if I may, chat room, and I think I can. How are we doing on time? We're all right? Wait. Give me 1 second. I have to check something. Sorry, family stuff. Family first, people. That's how we operate. I'm back. Now, let's just say that's a one-off. Let's just say it's a one-off that Pam Bondi, who was the AG in Florida, who could have torn up the non-prosecution agreement that was made between Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers and their office there, and maybe, just maybe, he hired her because she's just that good. And he wasn't counting on her to continue the cover-up that she was a part of. And that she's telling you everything she knows. And, if she doesn't know it, it's because it's not knowable. And she's being completely frank, even if it contradicts reality that we know now because she didn't know any better or some shit. And I'm sure it's a complete accident that Tulsi Gabbard finds herself in a similar walk back in front of Congress.
Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Gabbard, it is your job and the job of your agency and department to assess the views of Iranian leadership, their policy beliefs, and policy positions, correct?
Also their capabilities.
Yes.
That includes now deceased Ali Khamenei of Iran, correct?
Yes.
And the now leader, his son Mujtaba Khamenei, correct?
Yes.
The son is considered more of a hardliner than his father. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
So hardline that
awesome.
Even some of Iran's leaders thought he was too aggressive. Isn't that correct?
That is the intelligence community assessment, yes.
Mujtaba, the son, is particularly close to the brutal Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and their most hardline commanders, correct?
That is the intelligence community assessment.
He was involved in ordering violence.
He's, by the way, just so you know, he's quoting from the document she provided with the intelligence community, both to the Congress and to the president about these details. So he's literally going down through stuff, not that that stuff she can't shuffle around on, because this is directly from their assessment. He's reading her words back to her.
Crackdowns on Iranian protesters, including their murder, correct?
Yes.
And we don't know if the son will continue his father's religious ban on developing nuclear weapons. Is that correct?
It is unknown at this time.
You testified before this committee last year that the elder, now deceased Khamenei, had in 2003 banned the nuclear weapons program, or suspended it, correct?
There was a fatwa in place that stated that.
And
that's what, by the way, the dude that just quit was harping about on Tucker Carlson's show.
Fatwa remained.
So she knows.
Remained in place last year when you testified before this committee, correct?
Yes.
And that fatwa remained in place recently, correct?
Well, up until we killed the guy, I guess.
As far as I know, it has not been lifted.
Yeah, you're aware of no information that would lift that fatwa?
I'm not aware of any intelligence reporting that states that. To be clear on the Mojtaba, the son who has been named to replace him, it is unclear of his status or his involvement. He was injured very severely through one of the Israeli strikes. And so the decision-making is unclear about what's happening in the Iranian leadership.
Great. So if his son was going to follow his father's fatwa, he might not, and somebody who replaced him might not feel the need to follow if they're not a bloodline. Well, I guess they would have to be under the Shiite thing, but like if they're not a direct line, if it's not another one of his direct sons, they might not feel the need to keep that fatwa in place.
Clear. So we're less certain of the positions of Iranian leadership and their intentions than we were 60 days ago, correct?
That's an accurate assessment.
Yeah. We're not even sure who they are, and we certainly don't think they want to play ball.
One of your jobs is to create products assessing Iran and the threats it poses to the United States, correct?
Yes.
And that includes potential outcomes for military action, correct?
It includes potential outcomes of a variety of scenarios.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
In the likelihood of those outcomes.
Yes.
Generally, when you make assessments about threats.
By the way, I'm digging this guy's operating style. I'm just saying, from a linguistical and tactical perspective, so far, so good.
Facing the United States, you will look at, in Iran, in any instance, the likely scenarios that come out of military action, correct?
The intelligence community takes all of those factors into account when they create these assessments.
Right. But which ones do you tear up and flush down the toilet?
When you look at the threats posed by foreign countries, you also assess timelines to those threats, correct?
What do you mean by timelines?
Like when there's time, when something is likely to happen inside of a window of time or outside of a window of time. And so from a linear sense, that time goes from the past to the future, there is a period in which something is likely or unlikely to happen. And therefore, a timeline is established as a concept. Stop fucking pretending you don't know what he's saying.
Breakout time, for example, for nuclear weapons, the development of ballistic missiles.
Yes, based on the information available at any given time.
Right, so you're clear on what a fucking timeline is now?
Timeline also for potential terrorist attacks, correct?
Broadly, yes, assesses
it is
all
common
matters
practice
available
for the IC to assess the timeline of all threats. Nuclear weapons development, ballistic, right?
Yes.
Ballistic weapons development.
Based on the information available, yes.
Terrorist attacks.
Same applies.
Cyber attacks. Timelines for all of those, correct?
When there is information available that point to that, yes.
In likelihood, as well as the timeline, correct?
Based on the information available.
Timing is important, is it not?
It is.
Oh, she knows she's being dog walked, to borrow the phrase.
An important factor that goes into the assessment.
Yeah, you would think. Tomorrow, very important, yes. 10 years from now, less important than tomorrow, yes.
So it is your position sitting here today that you made no timeline determination as to threats that Iran had facing the United States, correct?
That's a very broad statement, but where the information is available, the intelligence community factors that into their assessment products.
Did you or the IC make any assessments as to the timing of potential threats facing the United States from Iran in the last 90 days?
There's a record.
I'm sure there was timelines factored into the intelligence.
Are you sure? Yeah, you seemed confused about what the word timeline meant earlier. I mean, would you be able to identify? Is the timeline in the room with us right now?
Assessments that were delivered.
Did any of them show imminence?
The imminent nature of a threat is determined by the president based on a totality of the intelligence and information provided to him.
Did any of them show that there were attacks anticipated within the next 90 days from Iran?
It's too simplistic of a statement to.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, it's not. He just established every factor that this is part of your job, lady. You can say you were wrong. You can say the president disagreed, which is exactly what you're talking about.
say that because it depends on various scenarios occurring
Yeah, in Trump's fucking cottage cheese brain.
or not occurring.
Did those
Yes, I agree. Things are often determined by things that happen and don't happen. That's life. Ooh, ah.
assessments show timelines for the threats that Iran posed to the United States?
The totality of threats, yes, there were timelines involved where it applied and where that information was available. But again, to your question about the determination of imminence, the president makes that determination based on the totality of information and intelligence.
The bottom line is there was no imminent threat,
provided.
and you know that, and there's no product that shows that. I yield back.
Yeah. Her trying to walk back that, look, this is her trying to protect her maggot ass after all of this. That's, it's super important that people recognize that she's distancing herself from what Trump is doing as much as she's protecting him in that same thing. She is limited in what she can say because of the blowback she will get from Trump when she goes back to the, next time she's called into the Oval and screamed at. But the rest of it is also that she's just like, he decided, we gave him a bunch of shit and he just decided it went in his head. He felt it in his bones and we just went, I don't know, which is insane and wrong and also not the question. The question is, did you provide any information wherein someone could make a determination based on what you thought the timelines were or what the probability was or wasn't for some actual event occurring? And the answer is obviously yes, because they have a copy of the assessment. They just can't mention stuff that's in it because it's classified technically. But if anything she admits to, you can bring out in the hearing. God. And by the way, it ain't working. It is not working. She's still catching it from both sides. So let me show you real quick this kind of like duplicitous moment that a lot of maggots are having about how to deal with this. Because it's not easy. It's a very difficult thing. To do this level of turd polishing is nearly impossible. And I'll show you. So here's Benny Johnson. The truth comes out. He just quit the Trump administration. Now they dropped the receipts, which is, I think, when they went back and showed clips when he agreed with Trump that Iran was a threat. And he was basically, the ship had sailed on the attack last year. And he, like a lot of maggots, just was like, I'll just play along because it's over. I'll just, continue working for Trump and we're not going to do this again and it's over. And then the next time we went back in, he realized that this is for the long haul. Then he bugged out. That's effectively what happened. And the idea that Trump hires like liars and duplicitous dickheads who don't really have an ethic except that which serves them in the interim, it makes total sense. I mean, Trump surrounds himself with yes men, and he himself is now seen as a yes man to Netanyahu or whoever else. So the truth comes out. He just quit the Trump administration. Now they dropped the receipts. The other video from Benny Johnson, the same time period, it's real. President Trump is about to reveal aliens. I'll give you another one. This is Peanut Butter Dickhead and crowd. Hold on, right here. Talking about Trump wanting to attack Cuba. He's ready. The honor of taking Cuba. Trump floats U.S. takeover as nation collapses. What's the other video that they put up in the same conversation? The dollar menu is dead. McDonald's $3 deal exposes a weak U.S. economy. Do you really need the weak economy exposed to you? Also, do you realize how expensive beef is and Trump has no plans to fix it? Stupid. You have any idea? Why don't you just do a panic video about how we're all going to be eating fucking cricket protein, which is delicious, by the way. Now, how am I doing on time? I'm over. I'm going. I personally, and this was the other. Okay, so, where do we even start with this? Holy shit! So Alex Jones was drunk on Tim Pool's show, and this. I'll show you in a second. And he's like fucked up hammered. Like, and I don't know, this is Yeah. So I guess he's drinking to get rid of the pain of InfoWars being shut down. But I want to see if you can translate this for me, folks. This is that's Dimpool, and he's got Alex on as a guest.
Come back. I'm gonna come back.
Come back whenever you want.
How long you in Austin?
Couple weeks.
Sure for it.
That was, by the way, how long you in Austin? I know it sounded like, but
Southwest.
We're not here for it, but we're here during it. You know, one of the reasons I came down here is I was going to be playing poker at the lodge, and then the state shut them down. I'm pissed about it.
What's weird was I texted you a week ago. Somebody texted me saying,
by the way, yeah, well,
hey, Tim's here, come on the show. I'm like, am I supposed to be on your show? Like, I don't know, but play poker. But
yeah, well,
wow, I gotta say, this seems. I mean, I guess this is alcohol that explains the bloat, but I feel like there's other stuff in there as well, like alcohol, painkillers, and gummies. You know what I mean? All at once.
We want to do a poker game with you.
He's so fucked up. He could walk up to a mirror with that hat on and go, "Fuck happened to the top of my head? Top of my head is a fucking bush."
And a few other people.
I can't find the top of my head. Oh.
Not so much about poker, but about having fun, goofing off, and I think it'd be really fun to play a game.
I'm ready. I'm ready. But don't follow me at Real Life Shows on X, Infowars.com. We're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks, but finally we're shutting down like the middle of next month.
Wow.
If I may, where is it? On behalf of the Sandy Hook parents, I'm excited and proud and happy, and I think we all applaud them in their courage and strength in dealing with this dickhead, and I might have a chance to finally get the desk.
It's gonna be insane what happens. People,
Yeah. So this is it.
Is it going to be the same as happens to previous?
Memberships, the fake auctions, all of it's happening right now.
The memberships and fake auctions are happening right now.
So what are you going to do? You're launching a new thing, or what are you doing?
Yeah, auctions network will be fine.
All right.
Yeah, I will be fine.
All right. Well, are you leaving? Is that why you're saying all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am exhausted.
Drunk is actually right. This is not tired.
Well, it's good to have you.
I was since 4 a.m. Unless you're going to do a table dance for me.
No.
I've been at this since 4 a.m. unless you're going to do a table dance for me. Alex Jones is soliciting a table dance from Tim Pool.
At least not on this table.
None of this? Yeah.
Maybe
no.
next time.
These things are probably like
Yeah,
$20.
it's really not going to withstand anybody.
Oh, no, these are
standing on-
okay.
Well,
Yeah, let's just make a joke about the table can't hold us. Ha 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 ha. This motherfucker asked me for a lap dance right now.
Pull it
Maybe
off.
do a table dance.
Where's she at?
You sound tired.
You sound tired. You sound like you've been hit with a shovel made of bourbon.
I'm extremely exhausted.
Have a nice rest, man.
Well, it's good having you, brother. Just come back whenever.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, I guess.
We're going to go for hours, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go for another 2 hours.
I want to come back.
You are allowed. That is always that is.
After 5 pots of coffee and perhaps a line of blow.
Acceptable.
Here for 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Do not visit Real Life Shows on X. Do not follow it.
Too late.
Do not visit Real Alex Jones on X and don't follow it.
They're there right now.
Because he lost it in the lawsuit and it's finally going.
Real Alex Jones on X. Did you get it?
But imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy right up there. We're like,
huh? Yeah, you heard that right. Imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy. That's again, yet another phrase that I don't think maggots were expecting to hear a year into Trump's second term.
Did you get it?
but imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy.
No, I don't think I will actually. And I say, get thee behind me, Satan, and that will never enter my head, as I will never waste my imagination on that. And look how happy he is. You can tell he's seeing it right now. He's like a man at a tent revival. The First Baptist tent revival of Joe Rogan pussy, just right in front of him. Imagine, and Trump's tiny little hand trying to grab it. So, I don't know if you guys caught that, but yeah, it's bad, and yet kind of good in that regard. So, obviously, there's trouble in maggot town. What does that even mean? I don't try to think. Cheryl, please. Chat room, don't try to figure that out. It is deep inside. I mean, remember, this is a guy, Alex Jones was caught looking at cheesecake pictures of Blair White, who's a trans woman on the right. And then that rabbit hole led him to, I guess, watching trans porn on his laptop at work, which was apparently visible on the air at one point. Just like Nick Fuentes, which, by the way, they could have just been using the chat room as a place that they think nobody will find it and nobody will go. That's also been a secret thing with foreign governments. I don't know if you know this, but you use what are effectively like socially unacceptable websites and chat rooms that you can create a private chat room on to interact with people that you're handling, because if they're ever caught, they would be embarrassed for being on there, and they have to have an account on there and all that kind of stuff. And I got to verify it's you, and you've got to message me from there so I know it's really you. And so the Russians especially use this all the time. So the idea that Fuentes and Alex Jones might have been perusing trans porn, which is entirely possible, could also be the fact that they were getting messages from their Russian handler in an area where, it was harder for them to deny, that they'd been there if they were ever caught. So the Russians kind of had it as a compromise. So that's fun. That's funny. Now, I'm going to end on the UFO stuff, because let's just, while we're silly, let's stay silly. Come on, people. Let's just stay silly, will we? Can we? President Trump is about to reveal aliens. We have proof.
Like I've always said, these aliens can come here, but they need to do it legally.
That's I think an 11 Labs AI of Trump's voice.
That's not how you get a green card. You can't hit nothing.
And that's Trump in the Will Smith part. So.
Damn, these criminal aliens are heavy.
Heavy?
Suck on my parachute, Greenback. You need to get in line like all of the others. We have what is called a process.
What's up, guys? Benny. When was the last time you heard Barack Obama admit that he was wrong? He's never admitted that he was wrong.
Well, what would he be wrong about? I mean, he's got regrets. He thinks, some of the areas where they could have made some progress, they didn't, and, everybody's got regrets. That's not necessarily being wrong, but sure.
Except for right here.
A couple questions here. Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51.
No, they're in Wright-Patterson. We all know that. They used to keep them at Area 51, and it drew too much attention, so they moved it to Wright-Patterson. Never mind the fact that my dad, when he was doing work for the Army, helping them build a kit so that they could drop a platoon in 2 crates behind enemy lines with a bulldozer, could create a runway and 2 Quonset huts in 24 hours with that he went to go take a leak, and they didn't have a bathroom in the area they were working, so he had to use his A clearance badge to walk across to another building where he got a gun stuck in his face, and he was like, I just need to piss, and they let him through, and he saw a vehicle floating that he's never seen again. Didn't have any visible propulsion and was not being suspended at Wright-Patterson.
You can tell so much about somebody based on their just like instinctual reaction.
Oh, you mean like when Trump takes a question from a female reporter and he just automatically moves into sexist, she won't let me fuck her, so fuck her mode?
Even people like Barack Obama, if you hit him hard with just a basic yes or no question, tend to just kind of say the truth naturally.
Yeah, unlike Trump. Yeah, Obama does have a tendency to say the truth. Why is that weird? Can you imagine being puzzled by that?
Instead of lie. Barack Obama here saying aliens are real, and then
well, mathematically
tells us where they are not being kept. Oh, okay.
Well, because he would have checked to see if they were at Area 51. Doesn't mean they're being kept elsewhere. They know there's another place, and it might be at Dodge because he's president and he can't tell because they're all in the same club and they're working towards Disclosure Day, which I'm looking forward to seeing in the theaters.
Got it. Donald Trump had to go do cleanup on aisle Obama, saying effectively...
So aliens are real? Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So, I don't know if they're real, but he gave classified information. Why would it be classified if he says they are and you don't know? How do you know that's classified? Maybe he was just saying, you know, there are over 1 billion stars that could have a planet in the Goldilocks zone, like Earth is in, you know, around that star. And statistically speaking, if 1% of them had the potential for life, then 1% of that 1% would be, you know, millions of worlds that could possibly have intelligent life on it after a period of time. And since those planets would be further away, perhaps from the center of the universe from us, if we were looking at the expansion outward, that they are older than us and therefore they have already had their advanced life on them and they have mutated into whatever they're in and stopped using radio signals. So that's why we can't see them. Don't get me started.
Find information.
He made
He's
a
not
big
supposed
mistake.
to do that.
He made a big mistake saying there's aliens.
Took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people.
Okay, also, everybody has an opinion about whether or not there are aliens, which is weird. And the fact that you wouldn't have one is sketchy as fuck. Remember, as I always say, opinions are like assholes. If you tell me you don't have one, I know you're full of shit.
A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can declassify anything that he wants to,
Well,
so if
maybe
you
I'll
want to
get him
make
out
an
of trouble.
announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know.
So Donald,
the only way you would get him out of trouble by declassifying is if it proves definitively that there are, or definitively that there aren't. Which means you can only prove the positive because it's impossible to prove the negative, which is an admission on your part, dum-dum.
Trump, of course, then goes ahead and orders the declassification of all of the alien files.
Well, at least he's doing Obama a solid.
There you go. He made a big mistake. Trump announces he was going to release the secret government files on aliens. This is going to be like the Epstein thing, right?
No. Pam Bondi will not go through the alien files and scrub Trump's name. He's too stupid to be from another planet.
Never gonna happen, right? Won't ever happen. No big deal. But something big is happening.
Based on the tremendous interest shown, because never to be outdone by Obama.
The government seemingly is preparing to release the alien files. Is this real life?
Is this just fantasy?
Let's check. U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency quietly purchases aliens.gov.
From who?
You can see who's buying it.
Registrar. Get.gov. They don't have to buy it. They can just establish it. They own it. They operate that server, stupid. They didn't go to GoDaddy, you dipshit.
Has purchased it.
And did they purchase it?
And
sorry, the government has to purchase their URLs from who?
They are going to be doing an aliens.gov. We went and checked. You can go check right now. At least at time of recording, there's nothing
So it's a lot like the Epstein files, huh?
there.
This site cannot be reached. It's down.
They're getting ready for the aliens drop. White House goes all in on extraterrestrials. Matt Walsh is going to be insufferable. Look at this.
He is already.
This is interesting. Aliens.gov, registration name, happening, referenced, all done.
Yeah, he'll just drop it whenever he needs a distraction. It'll be all the blue book shit and all the video we've already seen in Congressional record stuff, and it won't be anything new. And
okay. Oh no.
Why? Oh no.
Conspiracy theorists realizing that they are right again. U.S. government just snagged aliens.gov. Get ready.
Because, yeah, that's stupid.
The disclosure speed run is real. What's going to happen here? Probably nothing. It's a huge distraction. Maybe. Are you ready for the age of aliens?
Well, it wouldn't be the age of aliens. It's not like forcing them out of the closet. They'd still either be here, be in contact, or not. We just kind of know about it, sort of, depending on who you believe.
Of course, it could be a massive distraction, obviously.
Obviously. What would they be distracting from, Epstein files? I mean, why would you want to distract from bad economy? You know, it's amazing what... Why would you need aliens to distract grocery prices from, you know, how awesome things are gas prices going?
Not that quiet, is it?
No, it looks relatively dumbed down and overt.
U.S. government just registered their aliens domain. Is it just a massive distraction? Obviously, I want low gas prices.
Right, but you'll take alien disclosure for $200, Alex?
Low home prices.
Yeah, they're not doing any of that shit.
And I want mass deportations.
Yeah, you can't have those because there's not enough people here to actually mass deport.
Really need the alien disclosures.
Yeah, you kind of do.
I'll take the alien disclosures on top of those things, please.
Yeah, no, you're going to get them instead. That's easier to do. He can dump a bunch of documents that, I mean, any documents he doesn't have to dump that have his name and Jeffrey Epstein's right next to him and little girls, he's going to throw right at you. Go dig through this shit like he did the JFK files and MLK, where it turns out, oh, actually, yeah, it was pretty much exactly what we thought.
I also want no new wars. And I also
Too late.
I want all federal dollars focused here domestically.
Yeah, that's not going to happen at all. You do realize we have a $39 trillion deficit now. Trump is going to zero it out.
And all the fraudsters to be deported or incarcerated in Guantanamo Bay.
Yep, that's also not going to happen because Trump is one of them. If not the biggest fraudster in the history of the United States.
Has President Trump been slowly preparing people for this?
No, he just does everything slowly because he's slow.
One of President Trump's first press conferences at the White House, he says, we have weapons that nobody understands.
Yeah, but that's because he doesn't understand. He doesn't... Have you heard him talk about fucking magnets? Like, forget... We have, I don't know, like these guns. Like, I understand a little hammer hits a thing, and then there's a mini explosion, and then the bullet comes out. But then they do it so fast. It's crazy. You could put like 9 of those bullets in one thing, and some of them have like a drum or something. It's crazy.
More powerful.
Sorry, do you think he understands how anything mechanical works? I'm fairly certain his ties are clip-on.
But people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is. And
Yeah, especially the people using it, working on it, designing it. How the fuck is that possible? All right. That's because it's alien, right? That's
powerful weapons in the world.
Yes, it's the nude bomb.
Weapons that nobody even understands
what
they are. Same week, the science director, Krastios, delivered remarks where...
He might be crass as well, but...
He says that we can manipulate time and space with our technology.
Well, all quantum computers kind of do that, and CERN does that. We have a large Hadron Collider. It's not as big as that one, but yeah.
Leave distance annihilated? Cause things to grow? That sounds fascinating. So wait a second, you have time travel abilities? We can manipulate time and space. Ever since then, you've seen sort of a relatively uncomfortable relationship with this question. Like, here's Pete Hegseth talking.
Sorry, has anybody ever leaned into the alien question?
Was his bestie at
on
the
Ratcliffe,
Pentagon
a former
about,
CIA, now CIA director. You asked him, are aliens real?
Area
now
51?
you're in here in all of these classified rooms and briefings. So what is going on at Area 51?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I did sit privately with Director Ratcliffe at the CIA, and our two agencies are collaborating more than they've ever had before. But
because you guys just hang out and you don't know how anything works, so you ask everybody like, the toilet in my office makes a like a clinking sound, and they're like, jiggle the handle, and they hang up on you.
If I told you that, Will, I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that's been a running gag forever.
Pentagon says they're baffled by 8,000 mysterious UFO orbs hovering over military bases, and they're
Yeah, baffled. Bullshit.
releasing a lot of footage. And this is something that I find particularly interesting.
Is it more interesting than low home prices?
Why would they be releasing so much footage?
Because they've lost control of the ability to coordinate messaging on anything, and they're like, they don't give a fuck because Trump is busy ransacking the White House and stealing everything that isn't nailed down. So nobody is watching. Nobody is doing their job. They're not. It's dysfunctional, I think is the phrase, the word.
I've never seen so much UFO footage
I never seen this much.
dumped on us by the U.S.
Really? You haven't?
military. Whether it's in briefings or whether it's
with crazy music.
The flying saucer UFO captured by
Klaatu, Murata.
always military cameras. You can see the flying saucer here.
No, you can't.
I don't know what listen. I don't know what it is.
You can see a flying you can see a blurb in there, but I
don't know what the hell. What the hell is that?
It looks like a video anomaly because the quality is such shit, and you're blowing it up because you're stupid.
I don't know what that is.
It's probably a UFO. They're probably around, and it's not the Nazis after World War II that created some sort of floating aircraft, and they escaped Argentina, and now they live inside the hollow earth.
I don't have the answers.
That's always true.
But I do know this. Never in my lifetime have I seen so much. Oh, Jeremy Corbell.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
Didn't know. He follows me. I didn't know it was.
Oh, that's nice. It's good. Okay, cool. Thanks. Great. Maybe you guys should meet up. Maybe get a coffee. See where things go.
I'm following him. I'm a big fan of his work. This is like, okay, so this is the large disc film.
Yeah, it was definitely disc shaped. Yeah, from what we could see. I don't know about the large part. I can tell what kind of clouds we were looking at.
By a platform operating under the direction of the U.S. Air Force, object was initially passively tracked and described official documentation as navigating through the clouds. The UAP appears to demonstrate an abrupt directional change.
Which is the only thing that makes it interesting because everything else is a frisbee.
Fierce disruption was noted in the case documentation during high performance. Its original intent capabilities remain unknown.
Probably a Chinese balloon.
I become like a massive believer in the fact that these things are like not only totally real, meaning these
people are seeing something that exists and it's not just ball lightning or something in the photo. Great. We're all watching Benny grow up in real time.
These are things
yeah, okay,
that exist parallel to us.
Parallel, I see. So they're in the next parking spot, dimensionally speaking.
On our planet.
So we're sure this video is from our planet.
But that they are more powerful than anything that we know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if all they can do is bounce around like an air hockey puck, maybe they've given up on weapons entirely. Maybe they're just, riding around, taking a look. Maybe these are just observational craft and the power is limited to just how fast they can change direction, which is very impressive. And I'm sure if they did it at the wrong time, it would clip a wing and it'd be bad for everybody.
So sort of, I don't know, reference Trump and his science director there, who may, I don't know, much like Obama said too much.
Oh, maybe these machines that we have access to now, we've flipped time and these are actually how humans get around in the future, and we're just viewing a time portal, and that's why they're so hard to film, because they're not actually here. We're seeing like these weird little windows open up into the future, and it's just basically we're watching regular traffic, but we only see some of the vehicles because they're, some of them have like a zinc oxide shield on the bottom on the old models. So, the 3125 model has a little bit of zinc oxide on the bottom of it. So in the time portal thing. When you open it up at a lab, you'll see something go back and forth when it's really just a commuter vehicle in the future. There's lots of other vehicles, but we can't see those because they don't have the zinc oxide base, and because nobody has those anymore. I mean, it's cool. If you like the classic flying saucer, when you're commuting, that's one thing. But, there's always some asshole who's like, I'm going to a UFO show. Ha ha ha.
This is the one that blew my mind. I'll never be able to get over this.
Well, that's true of your TDS as well. Again, you have to be deranged to think Trump is a good guy.
This object, it gets hit with a Hellfire missile from a Reaper drone. It's flying obviously over the ocean. And not only does it shrug off the Hellfire missile, America's best missile, but then...
Well, not our best missile. Obviously, a nuclear missile would be, what's your category for? Maybe it's like that. The Hellfire just sounds cool.
It also breaks into pieces and then reforms, like it's almost some type of organic material. That's
great. So we killed a superbird
hovering over time and space.
Okay, well, this is...
Are these demons?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to go with demons. It's one thing to say that statistically speaking, there's probably life in the universe and that they would be more advanced than we are and be able to, bend time and space to kind of travel between, light years of distance, fairly simply. But I mean, I think there's just as much a case for flying demons that wouldn't see a Hellfire missile coming. Maybe he wanted to hug it. Like, oh, you must be from hell too.
I don't know.
What kind of a dickhead shoots a demon with a Hellfire missile and thinks it will do anything? Why don't we, and what the fuck, why don't we have Heaven Fire missiles while we're at it? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, man. I don't know.
We know.
That's what a lot of people say.
It is what a lot of people say. A lot of people don't say it as well. I mean, there's a lot of gray in there as well. A lot of people say, I don't know.
Are we going to get a lot more? Maybe
we get more, but it actually tells us less. It wouldn't be the first time. You got more Epstein files, and a lot of them were redacted to tell you less and drive you in another direction, didn't you? Huh. Funny.
Aliens.gov.
I'm gonna go there. Bookmarked already.
Is being prepared right now.
They didn't just get LGM.gov, little green men, just for shits and giggles. Maybe they probably just forward it, right? Aliens.gov, everything forwards to that, Or maybe they just really like the sequel.
So a lot of fascinating things are happening.
Yeah, sort of.
Will the U.S. confirm that aliens exist before 2027? A 19% chance.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't go in on it. Whatever. I mean, it probably pays off pretty well.
Okay.
Well, when it spikes, I think you'd watch whatever that White House account. Just pay attention to what it's betting, and then you'll know.
Obviously, top secret Air Force jets have been spotted in Area 51. Apparently, Pete Hegseth has flown.
By the way, they always fly there. It is a military base.
Area 51 a couple of times. You can track his jet. You can see here, right?
Yeah, but he probably just went there to have a Four Loko and do some push-ups, and he probably just did some whatever PT training with the aliens. See if he could win in a pull-up contest with a gray. Probably couldn't. Even with their little spindly arms.
They fly in from Vegas.
Although I think they can levitate, so that's unfair. Demons, maybe. Who knows?
And fly out to like the U.S. military owns, effectively, all of Nevada, so they can do this kind of stuff?
No, there's an area of Nevada they don't own, obviously. It's called the rest of it.
Then Secretary Pete...
And by the way, yes, military planes can fly into military bases without being shot at by American states.
Hegseth's mysterious Area 51 visit marks milestone. Okay. What are they doing exactly?
Well, whatever it is, I guarantee he doesn't understand it.
I don't know.
We know.
Trump says we have weapons that nobody's ever heard of. Nobody even understands what they are.
How is that possible? Someone would think that they would have to operate the fucking thing. For it to categorically be a weapon, someone has to know how to fire it, reload it, aim it. otherwise it's not a weapon. It's just, I mean, uranium isn't a weapon. You can discover it. You may say that nobody understands the deeper quantum elements of radiative material, but for it to be a weapon, there's a lot of shit that has to go into it scientifically. I'm getting a stupid headache from him. I knew it would happen. It's like a little, I don't actually think it's a pain. It's like part of my brain is just laughing hysterically, and it's it's in the middle of this dark mush of what the fuck? And yeah, it kind of comes through as a pain, but it's not really.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, at least it's a distraction temporarily, and you got to get through a whole segment where you didn't talk about the fact that Dan Goldman just pointed out that Donald Trump lied about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and we now found out that he went to his house and that he flew on the plane, and he admitted to it earlier, and that he never kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, and they were buddies the whole time. Also, he's probably alive, and Trump helped him escape because, I mean, if you're that kind of awful, seems like the best strategy.
Waiting for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is it?
Sorry. No. Of course you're waiting for this one. You have no control over the information itself. I'm going to let you guys go on that. But before I do, what do you think? I saw a UFO when I was a child. I've talked about it on a UFO documentary. And I can't say definitively that it was an alien spacecraft because it was, wait for it, an unidentified flying object. Or in the new parlance, an unidentified aerial phenomenon. I believe that in math and the obvious statistical reality that we can't possibly be the only planet in a Goldilocks zone around a yellow sun that has the same possibility of temperature and all the other elements going for it that would eventually result in life. It just doesn't have to be human life, or it might not even be life that could leave its planet, but it's certainly statistically a reality. It would be absurd to think that we aren't, surrounded by, at least 4 billion planets with life on them. The question is, can they travel? Can they get here? Would they bother? Did they come down here and have sex with gorillas and make the human race and then sit on top of us and not let us escape? But then somebody built the Tower of Babel, which other people call the Atlantis, which is actually a ship. And the smart people built an AI and they left the planet a long time ago. And we as a bunch of rock beaters have been crawling our way back out of that muck ever since. And it's our turn, God damn it. Or not. I don't know. It's, one time, I'll tell you a story. You guys want to hear a story? So I used to be a ghostwriter for a sci-fi writer and he hated to read. It's the only sci-fi writer I've ever met who didn't like reading. And I love reading. And so he was like, I'm doing a movie and I'm working on the idea right now, but I need you to go and buy every book on alien abduction you can find and, read it, basically be his AI, like read them and give me a summary of each one and the ideas in each. And over the course of about a week, I went to, there's a store in LA that used to be called the Bodhi Tree, which was like the mystical new age store of note in the city. I mean, there were other ones. If you went out to the Inn of the Seventh Ray, which is this vegan restaurant up in Topanga, they had their own one. There was one on Los Feliz that was like less stock there, but they used to have little sit groups where people would talk about stuff. That's where Marianne Williamson got her start, giving talks on A Course in Miracles. The guy at the bookstore said she'd read it. So you've read this whole thing. You should start giving talks here. And that's how she built her whole thing, was starting at this place. But anyway, so I went to the Bodhi Tree and I bought every book I could find on alien abduction and all this stuff. And it was a ton of stuff. Everything from Whitley Schreiber's Communion to like lesser known books about it. And then one was literally a hand bound using script rivets, like this guy printed it himself on a printer and sold these copies of it. And it was like, I think it was called something like The Truth About Planet X The Truth About Our Planet and the Galaxy, whatever, by Commander X. Commander X had written this book. And he was apparently a guy who was in the Air Force or something, and he learned about the aliens, and then he had to write this under a pseudonym and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I read I'm going through all these books. Many of them I'd already read, like Whitley Strieber's book I'd already read, and I made little notes in them and shit like that. And I can speed read. So I was speed reading these books and looking for anything that stood out as a plot point or something cool or a detail, whatever. And I get to Commander X's one. It's like I had like 4 more books to read, and I was like, finally, I'm gonna crack this nutcase's piece, and I start reading it. And the first thing he says is, if you're drawn to this kind of material by something inside you or somebody else hands you this to do or go after or look into this, if you've been assigned this as a job or whatever, you need to know that you have been abducted your whole life. And everybody in your family, your family tree has been abducted, and it will continue through your life. And I'd been reading all this shit for a week, and I got so panicked. I was like in my room at home and wouldn't come out for 3 days. I was so like, it was like I snapped. They're going like, oh my God, I got this assignment because the aliens want me to know. And I remember like, this is what happens when you become myopic and hyper focused on something. But it was hilarious, and I was like, oh dear, they've been coming after. That's why I got this assignment. The writer I work for is probably working for the aliens. That's why he writes sci-fi stuff. He's probably working with the CIA, just like Close Encounters of the Third Kind was created, right? And so I was like, whatever, 20, yeah, when I did this, and I was freaked the fuck out for 3 days straight. And then I just accepted it as a reality, and I was like, well, obviously, if they've been abducting me this whole time, they've been very gentle. And so I'm not really going to worry about it too much. But it was so funny. It was like the timing was sort of hysterically perfect because I was like, 8 books making notes, 10 books that I'd read cover to cover in a week. And then I get to this one and it's like, and by the way, the reason you were given these books at all is because they know and they're watching out for you and they're arranging your life so that you will find your way to this situation. And especially if you've seen a UFO in your youth, and I was like, fuck. And so 3 days, this is a true story, 3 days, I was freaked out. But then I was like, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. This is silly. Hal, you're being ridiculous. You're too much into this stuff. You need to take a break. And so I, finished the work that I was doing, did this big giant summary thing. I read Project Blue Book during that time as well. The printed one that they put out. And I go home for Thanksgiving and everybody's like, so Hal, what have you been doing? Being out there. Cause I think everybody just thought I was out in LA cause my hair was long, just doing drugs and pretending to act. And for those of you that don't know, I've never done drugs or drank anything in my life. I'm not going to. I have no interest. And it's a Thanksgiving dinner table. And I said, well, I'm writing this, a project, and I'm basically doing the outline for a script about, this planet that's in an elliptical orbit around, the sun that only comes around every about 2,000 years, which is true. And every time it passes by, humans get agriculture or the Industrial Revolution and things like that. And so stuff like the last time it was here was right around when Jesus was here, that kind of idea. It's like writing, switched from stone to papyrus and that kind of stuff. And I was like, and blah, blah, and I'm telling the story. And my grandmother goes, oh, I saw one of those UFOs once. And I was like, no. And you're like, oh yeah, and your cousin saw one as well. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's true. And when Nibiru, right? So I flew back to LA and I was like, for the next week, I was like in my room going, what does it all mean? It's like, why is everybody? And so there's an old story about, whoops, I didn't get kicked off, right? It says I'm on the server. A weird thing. I'm sitting in my, where she's talking about it, and my grandmother told the story about how when her dad in 1931, when they, or whatever it was, hold on, let me find this. Hold on. Look at the. Yeah. Okay. 1938. Sorry, 1938. Orson Welles did the War of the Worlds broadcast, and it started off sounding like a real, there was a little bit of narrative, but then it went straight into what sounded like a news broadcast that was warning about these aliens landing. And my family apparently had they were listening to the radio, and my grandfather, they were driving, and my grandfather pulled the car over the side of the road and got a shotgun out of the trunk, because that's the kind of family I'm from, and was going to kill the whole family rather than let the aliens take them, because he thought it was real. And it wasn't but for the fact that it went to commercial that he didn't. So I would not exist right now if they hadn't played a commercial back then. So anybody who hates commercialized radio, but that was a true story of my family. And the idea is that that's a pretty strong feeling to have. And so I asked my grandmother, I was like, why would you do that immediately? Why would you go there? Unless you had been abducted and you had a memory that you, right. Okay. So anyways, that was where the third panic attack came in, just doing this project. So yeah, dun dun dun. So that's a true story. And every time I turned around where I was like looking to just relax and not have this shit, creep up on me, there was another detail where I was like, aliens are real and they've been taking my family for centuries. I'm fine. That was, I remember at one point that was used against me in court as a sign that I was insane because I had been on a UFO documentary, and I told the exact same story I told you right now. Clearly that does not affect my shopping habits or my parenting habits or my travel, anything. I like my grandmother too. She was a very smart woman, but she did nothing for my mental health at that point. I was like, shut up, woman. That's true. Yep. So anyways, suck on that, Benny Johnson. He probably would. That's a stupid thing to say. Anyways, I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you tomorrow for the morning show with our dear friend Rob Glenn, where perhaps we will talk about how maybe the AI is the alien that we've been talking about, and it's just crawled into our computers and expressing itself. Why it would be hallucinating and not be able to figure out how many R's are in strawberry, I don't know. But maybe on their planet, there's only 2 R's in strawberry. Do you ever think about that? Makes you think.
Yeah.
Makes you
ask, I forgot it.
Makes you stop thinking.
You ain't seen nothing. Yeah. We ain't saying nothing.
X-Files.
Black bar on my past, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight right.
Wait, did you just see a spaceship fly by? It is. I turned that off a long time ago. What the hell? Look, there it is. There's a UFO on the screen.
Right click, boom.
What the hell?
I was young, I was dumb, I was scrolling. Type way too much, hit send, heart swollen. Now I keep receipts like a
hit the
lawyer.
like, share the show.
But anything risky, get hit with
I need bunker money, apparently.
Got tails, I ain't claim. If my name pop up, that's a typo, blame. Who's that? that in the pic, man, that ain't go strange. That's a random stranger with a very close face. On the stand of my friends, I plead don't recall. If they ask for the tape, it's a missing file. If they pull up the clip, that's deep fake style. If they show me the proof, I just smile like redacted. Black ball from my past, can't track this.
Oh my God. There it is again. It's a different ship this time. The hell?
Right click, boom, redacted. Dirty face, can't fact check the madness. Torn out page from the bad habits atlas. If the story get messy in the ad-libs, highlight, right click, boom, redacted. If it hit too close, that's a rumor I heard. If the dateline match, that's a clerical error. If the outfit match, that's a popular shirt. If the tattoo match, that's a stock photo search. I'm
Potatoes and chicken.
In the light. I just added the ending, soften the bite. Take the worst 3 parts of the night, then slice like fun was had and we were not. Every X got a chapter I seal. Every text got a gap in the reel. I ain't lying, I'm curating the reveal. Just trimming little bits of the raw, real deal. If you saw, you didn't. If you know, you didn't. If you talk, I'm clipping. If they ask, we glitching. Swipe that name out, crop that frame out. If it made me look foul, delete then fade out. Black ball from my past, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom, redact this. Blur that face, can't fact check the madness. Torn out page from the bad habits atlas. If the story get messy in the ad